Let's hit the party with somebody, shake your body with me. Hey, sexy ladies from the 80s, move your body. Let's hit the party with somebody, shake your body with me. Hey, sexy ladies from the 80s, move your body.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Walking This Way's Impact Force podcast. I'm your host, Furman Jackson Jr., broadcasting you live once again from the DFW, that's Dallas Fort Worth, Texas. For those who wonder what it is, we're very excited to be back in your presence one more time on this great Wednesday evening. We know that it's May 10th, 2023. We know we halfway through May, and we know we're about to get ready to go into the 6th month of 2023. But the most important thing is getting things accomplished, getting things established, and most important, establish dominance in your personal life, not just your personal life, but your business life, whatever walk of life that you taking on to strive to and be all that and you can be. So I want to give a big shout out to everybody. Big shout out to Quan, Desiree as well. The Quan, how you doing this evening, sir?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. Just couldn't wait to get on the show. Big shout out to the guests. I've been following a little bit. I'm interested in seeing what this gonna be about, this conversation, because yeah, it's I got some questions.
Man, that's what's up, and like I said, I know she'll be tuning in shortly. And also, we got Desiree. Desiree, what's going on with you? How are you doing this evening?
I'm tired.
That's it, just tired.
I'm tired. I am. I'm so tired. I've had like what, maybe 2.5 hours of sleep. I'm tired.
Wow. Well, yeah, but you still here.
I'm here.
Appreciate you.
I'm here. That's what matters, right?
And that's the most beautiful thing about it. It's good seeing you as always. And I also want to give a big shout out to Joseph Roberts. I did a show earlier this morning at 10 this morning. It was very exciting. So big out to Joseph. He wrote the book Blessings in the Streets. So did double shoot. I did a 10 o'clock this morning show. And of course we're together on the 7 o'clock prime time show. So big shout out to everybody who's been supporting the podcast, whether they've been following the clips on TikTok, the shorts on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, the Walking This Ways Facebook page as well. We just thank everybody for their feedback. We thank everybody for their support. A lot of great testimonials from a lot of people. They've been saying they've been enjoying the show. The show has really been helping them out with the conversations that we've been having, the dialogue, their interaction, the chemistry that we've been having on the show. People really been enjoying it from every walks of life, and that's what's about here. We just want to make sure we bring great content to the listening audience, where they're watching us virtual, where they're watching, or they just listen to us by ear, where they listen to on us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all social media platforms, our heart podcast as well. We just want to make sure we're bringing great content, and I know also y'all are doing great things outside the podcast as well. The Coin, I know you've been doing things on a weekly basis. It's a show that you started. Let us know about the show and how can we catch it when you actually go live with it.
To be honest, because I was trying to save the heavy talks and the long hour talks, like for the podcast. I cut my phobia start kicking in too much, so it's like I gotta go live randomly. Sometimes I do try to, go, every day, but either work or something happens. So I'm like, okay, I'm not ready to be fully consistent in that. But I do try to, do like some either promotion video, um, share a bunch of work, stuff like that. If I can't do the lives, y'all can always reach out to me at answerus.org. Find me on Facebook at Daquan Jones. That's DAQUAN Jones. And yeah, but it's a lot of stuff I'm working on in the back end, though. I say that.
So basically doing stuff just on the back end. But I know you've been getting a lot of great responses, a lot of great reviews from a lot of people when it came to their businesses, their brands. With you just really just putting in the work that you're doing. Helping get these brands out. And if anybody watch wrestling like that, and I'm a big wrestling fan, it's a thing called putting over. And anytime in wrestling, it's time for the next guy to be the main event. The one who originally was in the main event will always put the new guy over, make him look good, because it was just always time to shine. That's what you're doing. You're putting other people over because their time to shine before millions of viewers that they come in contact with. And we know that people are excited about what they're doing, perfecting their craft, of course. And then, like I said, I know I had a big conversation with Joseph on the show this morning. And I tell him the fun part about it is, and people don't realize, people think the fun part is the end product. They see you on this platform, they see you making millions of dollars, whatever the case may be. But the fun process is the late night grind, the early morning grind, the studying that you have to do, the research that you have to put in. If whether you're working out in the gym or you're studying for a test or whatever the case may be, but we know them times can be tiresome, challenging. But we know what's the most part here. Because remember, Jesus said, "The flesh is willing, the spirit is weak." And you all know that every time we got a task ahead, we know that flesh tries to rise up against us. That flesh, I'm tired, I'm hungry, I'm sleepy, or I don't feel like it. But we know that the spirit on the inside of us is say, you know what? We got to do this thing. We got to master this thing. We got a deadline. We got a goal to reach, and we want to see the manifestation of what we got going on. So the process is fun, and I know Desiree, you've been getting a lot of great response yourself. People enjoying you on the show as well. And I know you say you're tired and stuff. So
I know, like I'm trying to figure. I'm like slow processing things right this minute. First of all, wait a minute. When you say making all this money on the platform, if that's what you two are doing, then I'm quitting my day job, okay? Because I'm not making the millions on the back end of this. And then let's not attack me for being tired, okay? I am still pushing. But if you want to blame anybody, blame Daquan for me being tired.
Oh man, nah, man.
that ain't got nothing to do with that.
Blame.
You don't put that on me. Don't put
I'm
that on
putting
me.
I'm putting that on him, okay?
He said, "Don't put that
Yeah, but
on me."
I would say I know you're tired, but I mean, I'm happy you're here. We happy you're here.
Look, you know what? I am happy to be here
Appreciate
too.
you being here.
Yeah, happy to be
Appreciate
here.
you being here. We really do. Appreciate you being here. You're a good soldier. Appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? You're a
I don't
good
think this
soldier.
weather is helping any though. I think that when you're only functioning on a couple hours sleep and then you got this rainy weather. Not counting, I just made some kick-ass homemade spaghetti, like homemade sauce and everything, and so I just ate that. So I'm sure that probably does not help me being tired over here. So if y'all see me in just a little bit taking my little blanket like this right here, y'all better say, "Wake up."
Oh, so you didn't say it was a play.
Oh, wait a minute. It's on its way.
Really?
Yeah, it should be there. It's door dashing. It's door dashing all the way to you.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna hold that to you. I'm gonna hold that to you now.
The guest's still coming on, right?
Yeah, surely.
Okay.
So we still gonna have a good time, of course. Like I said, man, I'm very excited. Been a new series, the new Phases of Dallas series, been really good. Thank everybody for their response. I just love to see people doing great things. You want to see people be successful in every walks of life. You just want to see people shine and grind and do great things and just really make stuff happen. That's what it's all about. We appreciate everybody watching us right now. Everybody timing in now. So we are live streaming right now on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live. So, man, we want y'all to, tune in, keep timing in as well. Also, big shout out to Latoya Smith. She said, "Me too, Furman as well." Yeah, man, I want to see everybody win. I want to see everybody succeed. And that's what it's all about. Succeeding in life. Just succeeding, just growing. And you know what? When I was talking about this on the show this morning with Joseph, you always see things that you really see, okay, I want to accomplish. You always see things that I want to grow from. You always see things that I want to master. That's just my mindset. Because it's always things to get better in. It's always things to improve in. I'm not just talking about on the material surface, but I'm talking about personality. I'm talking about character. I'm talking about just always want to get better when it comes to articulating, or it just comes to just how you interact with people, how you treat people, how you come in contact, how you just the things I just want to get better with time and get better due time. What do you say about that, Daquan? Just the everyday growth, just to evolve every day.
Oh yeah, definitely. You do have to get better. I'll just give my own personal little something. So sometimes the kicking for a man to do just give my own personal tough hard work, get his mind in that mind state. And sometimes that switch got to come on. It's don't be automatic. and that switch clicked on for me. And so now, like as you say, you find yourself doing the late night grind work, staying up. You trying to, work, and you want to you that work and the end game of it, is going to be good because you're starting to enjoy your work now. It stopped becoming some kind of tough job, and it becomes like, hey, I can actually do this. I love doing it, and it brings your true character out. Kind of let you be yourself in a real live work environment. So, you definitely got to keep going at it. Um, like I said, I know people ask me, like, you may not see me doing anything, you just may see me posting everybody else stuff. I'm sure people ask, well, why you ain't out there? Why we don't see you on vacation or anything like that? I'm just willing to wait my time, but I
Right.
want to do that work now. I want to get to know more people. I know I still got soft people skills to work on, little things, and I would rather come to everybody correct. So, but it takes hard work and consistency. And there's gonna be days you're gonna feel like, oh, I don't want to do this. Maybe it don't even make sense. I had my days where I'm just like, I'm sharing a bunch of stuff, but it ain't making sense. But as soon as you doubt that and know once you doubt it, you lose it. So I say, you know what? No, we're gonna keep going, and I'm seeing every bit of that progress that's coming out. So big shout out to y'all because y'all, like I said, Furman, you giving me the voice to even be able to really, be heard, and the video part. Yeah, I still don't, still working on it, but you helped me get more comfortable. Desiree, you helped me get more comfortable because sometimes the heat ain't on me now. Like somebody else to kind of be on the camera and kind of ask the questions. But it all works because I'm still growing, and I'm just getting used to everything, everybody. This is the probably the biggest year for me because it's the most people I probably met in my lifetime. A lot of people. So big shout out to y'all.
I'm gonna start pushing you a little bit more. When I start getting those little breaks, I'm gonna be like, all right, we need to go on live real quick. We're gonna get you into this feeling comfortable to go live.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I just ain't get a time locked down yet on anything, but we gonna get there. And then sometime I'll be wanting Furman to be on, but I know he work and got shifts because Furman. That's one thing I can say. Furman will engage. He will be in them comments and he will engage. And sometimes I be wanting to bring up the real stuff, and then a little bit of controversy from time to time. But I be wanting just a big conversation on it sometimes. 7, 8 people, and I'm like, jump in the comments. Let's get something going because it's good to conversate, and
When
get
You
that
know
is,
what I
out
see,
there,
D?
break out your shell. So
But when I say D, a lot of time I just want to sit in the background. When you got something going on, Desiree got something going on, I just rather sit in the background. I know you be wanting me to plug in, but I'll be cheating you on. I'll be pushing you on because I want to see you shine. I know you and Shay did some on IG Live a couple months ago. I really enjoyed the interaction. I even know I was just being silly in the comment section, but that's what we want to do. Cause we on the show. We want to be silly, the chemistry, the interaction, and that's what it is. But I love when y'all see it do it. I know you and Desiree did some a while, but I was just sitting watching. But I just enjoy the interaction. I just see the things that y'all doing, things I want to accomplish. But at the same time, y'all putting other people over, and that is a beautiful thing that y'all doing. And one of these days, I will jump in on the feed with you and stuff like that, and just with it dialogue, dissect, have a lot of great conversations as well. Also,
I think that the difference in opinions is needed, even if it's not your opinion. I think that we need somebody to say, but what if? Because that's what we need to do. We need to bring it, to the cast of, you know, not everybody's going to think alike, and then to have a conversation about it so that people can view it in different ways, but then also to see that we can all, either agree, disagree, it doesn't matter, but in the end, it's a conversation.
and big shout out to the guest, real AD. Like I said, I've been since I followed her. She throw up some controversy sometime, but I always find that she balances it because a lot of we know we call it the gender war, but there's where everybody takes shots at the opposite sex, but she always balances it. And I was like, I saw a post and I got a question on that because I know we in that time. and that's kind of a heavy topic because we really need each other. But it's like we got to find a way to get this thing balanced because it's in our everyday lives affecting us. You got so much going on. Everybody's talking, but we got to get the real effect of this thing.
Yeah. I mean, I just look at it like why be at a war? Why what's up with the competition? Now let's talk about that. What is up with the competition? What has got to be that I have to be the head of everybody? What's up with that? I don't get it. And that's what it is a competition for what? Why you in competition for? That really don't make no sense to me. Just why everybody? You see, people just want to compete against each other for what? If you gonna compete against yourself. Why I got to compete against the person that I'm with? And that right there don't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it's just a lot of outside influences looking into our homes, and it becomes difficult because it's like so the split of everything is traditional man, modern woman, traditional woman, those kind of things. And I just think we all is there's a difference from hey what you want now and then what's gonna last long. And I think we often get those mixed up because we got the right to be choose whoever it is we want. We can't really make nobody choose. We just got to be better at how we want to do it and learn to be more cooperative. Rather, it's, you know, traditional or modern. We should still have a way to work together because it's being done. That we can't say it's not being done because there's families in the world. So it could be done. It's just really what's stimulating us. So what are we allowing to be fed to us? That makes it so difficult. Like me, I'm in there. I may poke from time to time at this subject, but for the most part, I hate it. I hate the whole war of this gender war and disagreement because we losing as a people.
I mean, it's a distraction. It really is. Like you with somebody, what we are together for? Why we choose to be together for? What's the purpose? What's the meaning behind what we together for? That's something people have to ask themselves. You know, and then we go back to the blueprint. God laid the blueprint. He really did. His blueprint still stands to this day. We just have to apply his blueprint. You know what I'm saying? That's why I look at it as well because it shouldn't be me versus you in the world. Think about it. I'm not. When we go to work, we already getting beat up at work. We're already getting beat up in society. Why come home to World War III? Home will be the sanctuary. Where you the man or the woman, it should be a sanctuary. It should be your serenity. It should be your peace. You should be able to come home. We can talk about everything and not the hoop and holler. The one, I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm not gonna go back and forth. I like peace. That's why I'm not gonna be hooping and hollering, going for putting your hands on each other. It shouldn't even be like that. But it should be comfort. We come for one another. It should be we're supposed to uplift, inspire, motivate each other. That's how it's supposed to be. That's just my mindset. I can't speak for nobody else. I'm just speaking for what Furman wants and what Furman believes in. And that's how it should be. Who wants to come home to World War III? It's ridiculous. And we talk about this all the time on the show. Communication is key. Back then we didn't really talk about a lot of stuff. We just went off how beautiful she is, how fine she is, how attractive she is. But we never got a chance to get to know the individual who we say we want to spend the rest of our life with. I've been there, done that, and I wore the t-shirts. I know what I'm saying coming from. But it's now should be the point to where I want to learn the individual. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to learn the person I'm with. Talk about things. We talk about this all the time on the show, Desiree. Talk about things. That's how uncomfortable conversations will make it comfortable when we in each other's presence. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you go to an AA meeting, first thing they tell you, admit that you have a problem. And that's what it is. We got pride issues. We hate to admit when we're wrong. We hate to admit when we drop the ball. We hate to admit that it's the other person's fault and say, you know what? I messed up. I said something I should haven't said, and I'm owning up to it. I'm not going to blame you for what I did. You know what I'm saying? And that what goes on now is some people just point the finger at other people instead of saying, whoa, it's me. standing in need of prayer. Anybody want to elaborate on that? You want to?
I mean, you got to think about it too, though. You have a lot of relationships that even whenever they're admitting to their flaws, then you have the partner wanting to constantly. It's like we're tallying up those flaws, we're tallying up those mistakes. So that could be a reason too why some people don't want to admit to their mistakes. I mean, at the end of the day, they don't want them thrown in their face either.
Well, that comes from maturity. Because if you made a mistake, that's it. So that's another thing too. You have to be mature about this thing. And if you immature, don't do it. If you mature, suck it up, man up, woman up. But don't never throw anything in nobody's face. I don't condone that. But that's not right at all. Why belittle somebody, tear them down for what? When they apologize, accept the apology and move on. But never belittle nobody. That's not right. You know, we gotta treat people how you want to be treated. True enough, gotta treat people you gotta be treated.
Yeah, but you know what I think too. Sometimes that happen, especially if you're together and you kind of get into a vicious argument or whatever the case may be. Sometimes it's like, gotta remember, it's like also, hey, you are the one who I'm with. We dealing together, and it's like you get hurt by the person that you love because if it hurts more than a stranger. So I think sometimes maybe things can be pushed a little further because the hurt. Because it's like that's you supposed to be, in my corner. But I think, sometimes that happens, just as far as couples.
Yeah, I agree. And Jillian Williams says we should know our spouses better than everyone else. And I agree with you too on that, Jillian. Like we should know our spouses better than everybody else. And sadly, you see relationships to where they're talking about what's going on inside the home, outside the home. They're looking for other people's approval. They're wanting everybody else to put in a 2 cents instead of working on that relationship at home. And so, in the same thing is that, you find in relationships that you're now, now you're not communicating with the person within your home. You're communicating with everybody else. And really nobody else knows. They're hearing that one-sided story. They're only hearing what this person's saying versus the truth. And we say there's 3 sides to every story. There's his, hers, and the truth. And so then it just becomes more, resentful. It becomes, lack of communication and bringing things together and wanting to work on that relationship. And, but again, I mean, if you start that communication from the foundation, from the very beginning, you should carry that throughout your entire relationship. And at the same time, you have relationships that they're so close. They know each other so well. So they also know each other's buttons to push. They also know, the limits that they can, push each other on. And, you see those games being played in relationships as well. And it's just really a whole toxic situation, to be honest with you.
Yeah. But we go back to love yourself, value yourself, and respect yourself. That's what I learned in the season of my life is to respect yourself, love yourself, and believe in yourself. I got to give a big shout out to Jay Philly when he was on the show a while back. And he was talking about how we follow a lot of people. We invest in other people, but we never invest in ourselves. We treat ourselves sometimes like we're the lowest thing sometimes. But we should treat ourselves like the best thing, whether you with me or not, whether you leave me or not. You leaving, you walking away, shouldn't define me. It shouldn't define who I am. I'm still going to stand. But at the end of the day, you have a choice whether you want to be here or not. And that's what we talk about this again in the beginning. Before we talk about relationship, it's a lot of things that we need to talk about. And sometimes people answer so fast, but never said a thing about what this person said. You know what the Bible said? Be quick to hear, slow to speak. We so quick to speak and we slow to hear. And we go through this road, go down this long road where a person come tell you, well, I decided I don't want to be here no more. Could this have been avoided in the beginning if we just read and said and think about what this person said? And then sometimes, and I know they say people don't like rejection, so they're willing to compromise their peace just to have this individual in their life, knowing deep down inside they're not happy. What do y'all say about that?
Rejection is definitely something to get used to. Well, as a guy, I'm sorry, we get it more. at least from what I believe, because I don't think women are just getting denied. I'm
No,
just,
we've had this conversation, Daquan. It's not about that. It is about the fact that there's a difference between, when like you guys see that, and I won't say that, that we might not have a little bit of an upper hand in that, right? But how many of those times are we being pursued for the great intentions?
yeah, that's true.
And I would say this: it's been guys who have turned down women because some guys got different tastes. You know what I'm saying? Like some guys may like short women, some guys may like tall women, some guys may like women who are gym rats, some may not. So there have been men who have turned down women because they know what they like. You know what I'm saying? It may be some guys who like the model type. It may be some guys who like the nerdy type, the geek type. So everybody has different tastes in what they like. So it has been guys who, 'cause you gotta be honest with you, you're a guy. It's some women that you're not attracted to. It's some women that I'm not attracted to. And that's okay. Because you have women who pursued you in the past, but you weren't feeling them like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's out there. It may not get showcased a lot, but some guys know what they like. You know what I'm saying? So, like women know what they like. They like some like them tall, short, muscular, not muscular. It's everybody has different tastes. You just have to know what your vibe is, what your taste is. Some like short hair, some like long hair, some like tattoos, some like tattoos. So everybody has a different taste. And also we got a guest with us. She just popped in.
Hey y'all, I'm so sorry. How y'all doing?
Oh,
Good, how are you?
Appreciate you hanging out with us, AD, on tonight. We're very glad to have you here.
Thank you.
You are a woman who don't pull back. What I respect about you, AD, you say stuff, but you don't back down. And I respect that because you stand on your square. You not back down. But that's respect, and that's really respect. And just really talk about what you're doing, who you're about, because you don't hold nothing back. And I respect that about you. So go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience here on Walking This Way Impact for podcast. And the Corn got some questions for you as well. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all gonna be mad at me about this because I kept looking at the time and I was like, okay, I'm going to the gym. I'm like, I ain't gonna take long. It's 8:00. And my homegirl was looking at my stuff and I was telling her, like, yeah, I'm gonna be on podcast. She said, girl, this is 7. I said, oh my God, I gotta go. I had to grab all my stuff. I was like, no, I gotta go. So sorry, y'all.
We're definitely not. No.
I went the wrong time.
Look don't apologize. That was some self-care. And guess what? May is the month of mental health awareness, and you needed it. We're gonna support it, okay? We definitely cannot be angry at you.
Thank you.
And I'm glad you're here so that I didn't have to, be the only female on the podcast this evening.
Yeah.
So now I got some support going on.
Stop lying.
Okay.
You used to
Girl
it.
power.
Stop.
He said I'm used to it.
Stop lying. You used to it.
He knows I'm like you, okay? I don't hold back. I'm just gonna say what I want to say, and so I can hold it down. Don't worry.
That's what
But
women
it's
do.
good. It's good to have another female though. I'm all for it.
Yes.
Oh yeah, like I said, we're very excited. So tonight is our conversation with AD, of course. I met her on social media. Very outspoken. That's a good thing. But I like what you say, AD. You don't hold back. You don't sugarcoat anything. We know we're in a time now where people worry about what other people think. But you're the type of woman, you don't care what nobody think. You just gonna say what you want to. You gonna say what you say. Either you gonna receive it as correction, or you take it as a rejection.
Right.
So, who is the woman behind AD? Who is the woman behind the picture behind me that we showcasing tonight?
Well, first off, I'm a woman of God, 2 boys. I got 2 teenagers. I want to actually just graduated early. So I'm originally from Seattle. I came to Texas. I moved here in 97. I moved to Texas in 97. So I've been here. I'm a Texan too. But not the Cowboys though. Sorry.
You know what? I've always been a Cowboys fan because I'm from Mobile, Alabama. I've been living here going on 3 years. I've been a Cowboys fan.
But I'm not a Seahawks fan, so Let's just put it out there, okay? And it's okay.
It's okay.
It is okay.
But it's all good though. We're still gonna have a good time though. I still represent America's team. But anyway, let's talk about relationships. You know, you hear this thing going on about gender wars. You hear this stuff going on about hypergamy, and are you familiar with these terms?
You talking about like the plurals and stuff? Or you talking
Yeah,
about
like no fab. You ever heard about that? No fab. You ever heard about that kind of stuff? No fab.
I have. I'm not familiar with it. I've heard about those certain situations and things like that. I don't. When it comes to gender and when it comes to those type of things, it's people's choice. I don't really try to tell them like, hey, this is, you got to do this or that or whatnot. I just stick with facts. But when it comes to those type of situations, I really just kind of sit back on that because it turns into politics, and I don't really get into politics.
Right.
I'm like, oh no, I don't want to get into that.
Right,
So,
most definitely. Definitely. That's why I was asking that for, because we and I don't get down with it. We have all these cliches, these theories going on, but a lot of these theories are people attacking each other.
Yeah.
You don't hear nobody take responsibility or accountability for their actions. It's always this person.
I had to learn that.
And me too.
As a young woman, like, just, I don't know when it comes to her or whatnot. What's her name?
Desiree.
Okay, Miss Desiree. Yes. As far as a woman, I put things out when it comes to not just men's point of view. I look at both sides because it's a woman and it's a man. I look at both sides of the spectrum. And as I was born in a 2-parent home, and some people weren't. So accountability, my dad taught me accountability. He would, put the seeds in me, and my mom did too. The issue was with me is that I didn't run with it. I would hear it. The thing about it is I could hear you, but I couldn't hear you when it came to the wisdom with my parents. So when it came to like a lot of accountability, I take a lot of that. And before it was just like, nah, that's not true. You don't know what you're talking about. The blame game here, point fingers there. And just one day, it was an incident with, I don't know if y'all a fan of his, but Derek Johnson. There was some certain things that he addressed about how, men aren't this and men aren't that and this and that and the third, but then he turns around and did what he did. So I said, oh, okay. No, we're not gonna do that. So let's switch it up a little bit. Let's try to shake it up a little bit. And one day I made a post about where you could be the most perfect man in the world and do whatever you want to do and still be in the eyes of a selfish, conniving, crazy woman, because they are out there. And I don't want to sit there and say that they're not, but they are. There's other women that are out there that are conniving, that are crazy. And I'm not trying to dog them or nothing like that. It's just, it is what it is. So we gotta accept accountability too. So I just put those things out there. I just put it out there just to see, okay, is men gonna just respond to this? But if I post something about how women should be treated right, women's all over the place.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, girl, women empowerment, women empowerment. But I'm like, okay, but what about our dudes though? What about our black men though? Because I was raised by a good black man. So you can't tell me that my dad is nothing.
Right.
That's not the case. So I just started to just throw all these things out there just to see how, statistically, what women would say as far as, okay, this is the truth here, because you got the bitter baby mamas out there, and I was one of them too. When I was younger, I was one of them. So let's put it out there. There is some bitter baby mamas out there. We got to take accountability for our actions. It happens, but nobody. Yeah. And the thing about it is, when I post those things, like he was saying before, no female response. Nobody says anything. They're just like, "Oh, you're not taking our side." I'm not on anybody's side.
Right. I'm on the side of the truth of the reality, right?
Yes.
So it's not about having to choose a side here. It's about this is the facts. This is what we're facing. This is what's going on. And until both sides can admit, that there's flaws on both ends, or there's room for growth.
Yes.
Like, we're getting constantly butting heads, but sometimes it's the need of, needing to hear it from, from a female, whether the female's defending on the male side, but also the male seeing it and speaking about it on the female side.
Right.
Because it can't be just about, women against men. And, and we had, Taquan and I had a great conversation even about this, last night after the podcast of, fathers' rights when it comes to custody.
The children.
It would,
Yeah.
Even when it comes to, and I know this is like a very touchy subject, but even when it comes to abortion, about saying that, it's a woman's body and she can do whatever because she has to carry the child. And I, was telling Daquan, Daquan, in my opinion, when you think about the fact, what if that would have been that guy's only child, right? Maybe he was never going to be able to have any other kids again. And so now you're going to abort this child that he doesn't get a say, and it's his kid. Because when we all know that obviously this child's got this heartbeat, but you're still going to abort this child. That's his child just as much as it is yours.
Yeah.
And then I said, but the thing that makes it aggravating, and coming from a social worker, I know I should be all on, it's your body, it's your right. I'm just coming at it on a realistic view from my end, is that we can choose, as females, we can choose to abort a child and act like that father has no say in it whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
However, when it comes to, say, child support, and say he didn't want the kid, you know what I'm saying, from the beginning, but the minute I stick his name on that birth certificate, guess who's now responsible for taking care of that child?
Yeah.
Without any kind of a choice. So you're going to give them a choice, really kind of they're getting screwed. They don't get a choice on whether they can keep the kid, and they don't get a choice whether they're going to support the kid if you choose to keep the kid.
Right.
And so it's always been like this battle of, for me, is to saying, well, where do the fathers get to have an opinion on this? Where's their rights? What if he said, you carry it for 9 months, and I understand that's your body and I respect it, but I'm going to support it for 18 years and I want my child. I don't want you to abort my child. Are we looking at that view? Are we thinking that the 9 months is nothing compared to 18 years? Let me tell you, okay? I mean, mine are, 21 and 22, and I still care for them as much as I can, but you don't stop being a parent even at 18 years.
You don't.
You're still their parent. So
yeah.
But so if that mom chooses that she doesn't want her child anymore after giving birth and carrying the child for these 9 months, and the dad's choosing to raise the child, it's not like he's saying, well, then I'm sticking you to that child support. He's having this, I want my child. When
and stability too. You're right.
Yeah. When
stability,
does a dad get
she
to
might
say,
not be stable.
Right.
Right.
But when does a dad get that choice to say, I want my child, do not abort my child?
Yeah.
Aiden just brought up an interesting point about the woman, the individual. What is her mind state at? What is she? I mean, what is her mind state of mind was at the time? Why she said that for? Why did she get that reason for it?
Yeah.
But the guy is willing to take care of the child. But what is her state of mind at? Why would she say that for?
She made a valid point on that, because there's a lot of women out here, they say once they turn 18, it's like, oh, they're ready. And you hear the statistics about, oh, women mature faster than men, which is it could be possible. However, we got to look at, again, the woman's upbringing, because she might get pregnant at 13, but still don't have a dad. She might have something missing still. She still might not have that stability to raise a child either still at that point. So it is more to that. Like she said, she made a really, really valid point on that, because she might have the child, and who knows, they might have a situation or whatnot. They might go their separate ways, and then the next thing you know, you get a phone call, and then it's like, oh, well, the child has a defect. Well, why does the child have a defect? Well, they were suspicious of marijuana. The mother was smoking marijuana, doing drugs, and this and that. And the father just like, well, I wasn't aware of it because, I wasn't around. So now we have this situation where we have to see if you can take the child under your care. So those type of situations, it's a lot. She made a valid point on that.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to say that it is a lot to look into it. Situations, especially if you go through the state, if the child go through foster care, it's a lot of stuff you got to make sure whoever adopted the child, if it came down to that, they want to make sure that person is stable, they have a stable job, stable income, Is the place livable? All that stuff plays a role, and then also it goes with the guy as well.
Yeah.
Is he stable mentally,
Yeah.
physically, financially? All that stuff plays a role. And a lot of times when some people get together for sex, they never tend to have a baby out of it. It just came along with the pleasure.
Situation. Yeah.
Yeah. And they just got caught up. It's like, I'm not ready for all this.
I also was, showing, Daquan a picture that was on, so I'm on this Facebook group called the Fathers Movement Rights. And they did this little meme thing, and it said, just because, what did it say, Daquan? Just because I'm the male doesn't make me the worst parent.
Right.
Yeah.
And I just want to make a point on that too. I shouted you out, AD, because I thought you was balanced in the war, so to say. You gave like the woman's point of view, male's point of view, and it was equal. You didn't go off or like on one side more than the other. Same thing with you, Desiree, because you try to find a balance. Because I think at the end of the day, we kind of get a little off on poking fun at the other, gender for the sake, especially when we see something wrong.
Yeah.
But it still could be a balance here.
Exactly.
There's gonna be people that still want to love, still want a family, still want to live that real life. So, just shout out to y'all for just that balance.
Yeah.
I see it all day.
But I want to ask this too. We all had a bad experience, but will you let one person stop you fulfilling your dream
Yeah.
of having a family, finding love? That's the problem.
Yeah.
People base one bad seed on everybody else, but it shouldn't stop you from fulfilling your dream of having a family, being a good man, being a good woman, being a good husband, being a good wife. That really goes back to loving yourself, knowing your value, knowing your worth. So I tell anybody, don't let no bad apple stop you from fulfilling your dream of having a family.
Yeah.
Well, and what did I say last night too? And Daquan, even posted it on Facebook. Saying, don't be mad. What did it say? Don't be mad at. Gosh, Daquan, I can't even think. Y'all, I'm
Don't
so
be
tired.
mad
I'm
at
running
them,
off at I'm going on 2.5 hours of sleep, and I'm like, go ahead. What is it? Daquan?
I think it was be mad at the man, not at the men.
Thank you, Daquan. And so
that
I said
hit
that
home right there.
Yeah. So I said that last night on the podcast, and he had posted it for me. And, and that's really the truth. And it's the same way men do it too. If she's a cheater, now all of a sudden they think every woman's going to go behind their back and cheat, right?
Become heartless or whatever.
Yes. And so, my point with saying that last night was we're so quick to sit there and say about men, like when one does us dirty, if one breaks our heart, then all men are going to break our heart,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't sit there and put everybody underneath the same umbrella.
Yeah.
There's good men out there, there's good women out there, but it's also about loving yourself to know what is good for you.
Yeah. A good example that I watched and it stuck out to me, this Love and Hip Hop stuff is all crazy and everything like that when it comes to the drama. But one thing that stuck out to me when it came to Love and Hip Hop was Scrappy. Because when he, and I saw it, and when that whole incident happened, when it came to his mom, like I saw the transition with him. Because his mama was always over him consistently all the time because of how he was raised. His mama, like he said, he was in a trap house all the time. So that's all he knew. The cycle wasn't broken at that point until Scrappy realized he stepped back because he's like, okay, now I'm really loving Bams. I got girls and all this other stuff. So he had to realize he reached his breaking point where it's not, it's like, Mom, you're taking it out on me like I owe you something when you really owe me something. And if you're upset or whatever, don't take it out on me. You need to go back to your mama. You need to go back to your daddy and fix the unbroken issues that y'all had. And I just sat there and kept watching it over and over again because I'm like, I've never seen Scrap like this. And everything that he would say when it came to a woman and there are accountabilities, I was like, he really made a valid point. Just because you're a parent doesn't mean that you don't have any type of flaws, because we do.
Yeah.
And I when you said that, as far as don't blaming all the men, blame just that individual that dealt with that. I think with Mama D, that was the issue that she had. She was just saying all men and all women, because she was raising all these all these women in this household. Like, oh, all these women ain't nothing. Don't do this, don't do that, blah, blah, blah. But Scrap was like, that's not what it is. Not all women are like that. Like, I love Bams. This is going to be my wife. This is who I want to be with. So back off. Like, it was just pouring into him. And he's just like, I have to break this cycle. He literally said he had to break it. So with that, that's why it hit home for me, because that's why I say, you know what? As a mom, if my kids come up to me and say, hey, Mom, this is a problem. Like, we got to do something. You're going to have to do something about it. So I'm like, okay, well, let's talk. I got to do something. I can't sit and keep saying, or get this defense mechanism like, oh, well, whatever. But it's but nothing. Like, kids are smart.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you, they're smart. They know everything. You think they don't know everything? They know everything.
I literally was, again, sorry, Daquan. I was telling Daquan, my sons, I had my sons, when I was 21 and 22 when they were born. And I feel like that I kind of grew up I grew up, raising children. And now, we've had this bond. I mean, like the communication, my oldest son, just recently, moved back in with me. He wanted a place of his own, and I said, just come and live with me, save up money, because it's in a different town. And I was like, I was like, I'm never home, and there's this big house that's just sitting there, so come and live with me. And he was like, I don't want to, but, because he's like, how's that look to be 22 and living with my mom? And I'm like, you live with your mom? Like, who cares? Who cares what anybody else says? If it's financially helping you, like, I'm your mom, not because, you're not 18 and I'm kicking you out. You're not, even at 22, I'm not kicking you out. Like, I'm still going to be there. But I think that, I was telling Daquan last night that one of the things that I love, now he knows when I'm being a mom, he knows he needs to listen. Okay.
Right.
But he's actually the one who I think keeps me grounded when I'm acting all crazy, and let's, for the, not good word, but bipolar as shit. Like, my son that I go to, and he will be as honest as going to be and be like, Mom, seriously? Like, you might need to look at it this way, or Mom, I kind of agree with this situation, and it's not what I want to hear, but it is what I need to hear. Yeah. And so he knows me best. He knows what, he knows all those ins and outs, because he literally, I was still a young mom. And so I love that I have that relationship, and they're so observant. We think, everybody's like, oh, kids are resilient. They'll get over this. They're also learning from that. And they're watching everything. They're hearing everything. You might think that you are fighting in another room and they can't hear. Baby, I don't know anybody's house that's got that good of insulation, or the walls are that thick that they cannot hear it. And if they're not hearing it, guess what? They can still feel that tension throughout the house. And
or sweeping it under the rug and just bypassing it. No, you can't bypass that.
And one of the things that I've always loved and admired about my boys, and not because they're my kids. I mean, I know everybody's going to think that. I mean, they are just good-looking young men, and they've always been very respectful to the women. They even when in high school, when it was coming to dating, they would say, I'd be like, well, why don't you just date girls? Like, why do you have to be in a relationship? They're like, Mom, like, I'm not going to invest all this time in a woman if it's not something I can see for the future. And I'm not going to just sleep around with a bunch of different women, because that's not respectful to them nor to me. And I was like, you know what? Maybe all those years of saying, like, if a girl comes home and tells her dad that they're dating you, and because their last name is Meredith. So if they'd say, I'm dating this Meredith boy, I would love for that dad to say, I know that boy, and that's, you got my approval, without even having to meet him, like, just because of his reputation, right? And so they also just said, we've seen you go through these god-awful relationships. Like, we would never want to, put another woman through something like that. So they think shit through. And so even when I didn't realize that what was going on with me, it was still teaching them something. They were still learning from it. They are like, if I don't want a guy treating my mom like that, I don't want to treat another woman like that.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's so important that you are being mindful of what's going on. You are, and I do go to them for advice. Like when I tell you they keep me from going insane, they truly do. And it's because they've seen it, they've been through it, they've experienced that with me. But sometimes parents don't want to hear what the kid has to say. Sometimes it's like, what do you know? You automatically get that defensive thing of, you're a child, I'm the adult. But guess what? We can all learn from somebody.
Yeah. And don't be ashamed of it. Like, I'm telling you, like I said, back to what I was saying with Scrappy's mom, or Little Scrap's mom, she just didn't know how to own any of it. It was just all about me, 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 me. And I was just like, no, it can't be like that. Because Little Scrappy was hurting. I don't even know how to even explain it. He was hurting because of what he witnessed almost his whole life. But the thing about it is she saw that, but she didn't want to accept it. And it's like, you have to accept the fact that this is all he knows, this is what he learned. And, I don't know, man, it really, really hit me when I was watching that video, because that's when he was getting vulnerable. And I was just like, wow, I didn't even expect that from him, because this is a grown man. Little Scrappy was thuggy, you know what I'm saying? He was this thug out here just acting crazy, acting a fool. And then he reached his breaking point. And I say this all the time when it comes to ladies, like, he comes home from work, he's out in the battlefield already when he's leaving to go out to work. So you want to come home and you want to keep doing the same thing, nagging all day that the dishes ain't done and you didn't do this and didn't do that. Nobody wants to deal with that. That's not cool. Sure. So, like, you need to listen, not listen. And y'all have heard this as far as listening to understand, not listening to respond.
We just said that.
It's not that hard to do. And I that's what I put out there. I'm just like, y'all gotta listen to them too. Like, y'all not listening to them. We have all the dudes on our back. We got Derek Jackson. We got, what's that other dude's name? The dude with the dreads. We got him. We got all these other dudes that already got our back. That's supporting us, putting all this other stuff out there, saying Ace Metaphor. We got him. We already said. So now it's their turn. Who can have their back? Because every time something comes on or a show comes on, oh yeah, that's how he act. This is what you want to act like. No, nobody wants to hear that. That's not cool.
And a lot of times also, AD, the guys have to be accountable too. The things they do, the things they say, how they react, how they approach. That's another thing too they have to do. Women like you to talk to them, not at them. They talk at a woman, they'll not talk to a woman. They hide behind the insecurities. If you got insecurity issues, you shouldn't be in about it. I'm talking from a man perspective. Mm-hmm. Guys got insecurity issues. Always comparing somebody what they went through in their past with another individual, or you treat me the same way. But going back to it, guys got to be more accountable too. If you bring a child to a girl, take care of your child. That's another thing. It's not her. You want to get mad at her, but if you brought a child in this world, it's your responsibility to help take care of that child also. Yeah. And a lot of them, they run. That's another thing too. Some guys not being accountable, and then when you call them out on their BS, they get in their feelings. They want to fight. They get
right. Mad. They want to act like a female.
Yeah. But it was you too. You played a role in it too. She had a baby. She didn't have a baby by herself. You played a role in it too. So that man up and take care of your responsibility. Just because y'all may not be together, still man up and take care of your responsibility.
Right. Because so you got them bitter baby daddies too. They are bitter.
Right, and you got guys who own the guys by them being men. Take care of their responsibility. That's another thing. Stop blaming the woman for everything. It's not her fault. You played a role. You did some stuff you had no business doing, but it's her fault.
Right. Unless it's a trap, baby, then it's her fault.
Yeah.
And then also we talk about too, being comparable. That's what guys learning too. Learn to be comparable. Get past the looks. Guys is women, I gotta give it to y'all, to women. When the guy approach y'all do, I'm talking about a real woman. Y'all do the background check. You check your social media. When y'all say you check your social media,
credit score, everything.
You know what? We are built-in private investigators. Period. We don't even need to go to get any kind of extra education on it. I promise you, women can find anything.
But that's why I'm gonna say that, because they gonna see, and I tell guys, and I listen to this too, and I heard other guys say this. Fellas gotta be careful when you talk to a woman. She gonna check your social media account. She gonna check your Facebook, Instagram, whatever you own. She gonna see if you bashing women. She gonna see what type of person you is before she get involved with you. That's good. Some guys need to learn that. They get so caught up on the tits and the ass and the face, but don't know anything about her character.
Right.
She fine. What makes her fine? Her hair. Do you know her character? Then when you get with her, she's a bitch now. But she wasn't a bitch then. She was a queen.
But
Now she's a bitch now.
It's not
because
just men. It's
No,
not
I'm
just
talking
men,
about
though,
no.
for women
I'm
to do
talking
that.
about from the man perspective. I'm not talking about the woman. I'm talking about character. You got some jacked up individuals out here, Desiree, men and women. True enough.
And I know, but at the end of the day, women do the same thing. You think that we're just going out looking for the right things? No, we need that sexual attraction to them as well. And then the minute that they do us wrong, what do we say? Oh, he's a narcissistic asshole. Or
Right.
Tell me I am not lying that term is what is labeled on every single man when they have done us a certain way, or we just choose not to be so. That is like you might as well just go ahead and put men out beside that definition, okay? Because that's exactly what they are saying. So women, even when men want to sit there and be disrespectful and say a girl's a bitch, or, oh, she was nothing but a hoe, even if she wasn't, you think that women aren't sitting there bashing men the same way, or we're sitting there saying how we all of a sudden now we want to talk about how poor they were in bed, or, we go for the jugular. That's what we do, okay? We don't just like surface it. Like, we're going to talk about your manhood because we know that's one thing that will hit you. Women are just as catty as men are disrespectful to us. And it's just a matter of, I guess.
No, but what
she's laughing at me, but she knows I'm telling the truth.
Because I witnessed
Okay.
it. I will witness it. That my homegirls be like, oh my God. I'm like, oh my God, what? What you get mad for now? I done told you what I told you. You didn't want to listen. So don't get mad now.
Also, you got to ask, have some women had a male model? Okay, have some women had a type of model growing up where they had a dad in the home? Because some of these women never had their dad around. So they only know about what they see from television, whatever. So some of them never had that experience of what a real man is. They not interact with a male. A male just think with his dick. That's all he think about. And he
Right.
think that's gonna pay the bills. A grown, you know what I'm saying? A grown man gonna pay bills. A little man, he gonna think about, I can't pay these bills, but I sure give you this dick. Now what some of these guys do, they play on some of these women insecurities too. There be some beautiful, gorgeous women. You be thinking, oh, she got it going on. And you find out she got some insecurity issues by this. Now, some of them jokers, they play on them women insecurities too.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
but you
a
also-
process. Because I was gonna say, like, as a man that didn't grow up with my father, I didn't know either. But it take time to learn. You're gonna go through like your ups, your downs, your women, So it's gonna take time to actually learn how to treat a woman.
Yep.
But all of that takes like time, patience, and endurance from both parties.
You
Because
do.
if she was without a father and I'm without a father, then I don't know how to treat her. She don't know what my role or what I'm supposed to do is. So it's like that got to at least be talked about and say, hey, you didn't have your father, I didn't have my father, and let's find out where we can balance that out at, because we got roles that we have to go into. Like, even if you try to deny your role, your body is and life is gonna force that. You're gonna learn to play your role
And I'm
as
going
a
to play
man and as a woman.
I'm going to play the devil's advocate on this and say, what about all these homes where, it's not there, they don't have the mother, or even if the mother's in the picture, but guess what? She's not being a mother, okay? Because there's just some trifling mothers like that, right? They're strung out, or they're there to say, I've got the kids, but really don't raise those kids, right? Either aunt's raising them, grandma's raising them, or the father's raising them. At the end of the day, those same things apply to both genders. You have to have that mother to teach them that nourishing side of them, that because that's the thing, is your male is going to teach them that strength, right? That's what we count on. The mother's teaching them that more gentle side of things.
Nurturing.
That is also, yes, it's also about how, with like my sons, even though my ex, I gave him joint custody, my boys did live with me majority of the time. That was by their choice. But being around their mom, it taught them how to be respectful to women. It taught them how to to know to respect themselves, you think that most boys are going to learn that being raised by their fathers, right? Because no, their fathers have that mentality of don't go off and get one girl pregnant and then you're gonna be stuck in this small town forever, or you're gonna be stuck with some crazy baby mama. Like spread your seeds, son. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just natural. And I'm not trying to say that men are jerks for doing that or anything. Like, I'm not. That's just how reality of it is. Okay. And so, but if they don't have that mom present, then they're not, like, a woman's not respecting herself. She doesn't know how to respect herself. She doesn't know how to carry herself as a lady. And this was one of the things that we talked about, Twan, is it takes both. But that male being in the home is so important. It's also, he's there to teach the young men how to be strong men. The mom's teaching them how it's okay to still be vulnerable.
Yeah.
You've got the dad teaching the young lady, don't settle for anything less than how your daddy, would want you to be treated, right? Like that self-respect.
Yeah.
And, and so then, that's why when you have a good father-daughter relationship, she wants her father's approval to be able to marry this man. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
She seeks that, approval. But at the same time, if that dad's gone, when we talk about daddy issues, that's a realistic thing that happens. Like, we crave that kind of attention. And sometimes that attention may feel like that father attention when it's really a toxic relationship that you're getting yourself into. But we just want that protector, not paying
Facts.
attention to the fact that, guess what? That protector is actually controlling of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have the difference of, you can have a man in the house and you can have a man of the house.
Ooh.
I say that because a man of the house, he's gonna provide strong leadership and he's gonna provide structure.
Yeah.
A man in the house is not gonna provide anything. He just in there, just be in there. But a man in the house, that's him. He's gonna provide structure. He's gonna provide leadership, and he's gonna make sure everything's covered. And not only that, he's gonna show the children he's gonna show his boys how to lead. At the same time, he's gonna show the boys how to treat their mother as well.
Foundation.
Son, this is how you treat a woman. This is how you treat your wife. And then they gonna eventually learn that, and they gonna develop that. And also the girl's gonna see, okay, this is how a man is. I see this man treats my dad, treats my mom this way. She's gonna look for that. Because you see.
So let's go ahead. What
you gotta say?
I was gonna say, so let's talk about how it is now. Like, we've seen as the generations are, changing, we have a lot of women that they're the breadwinners of the house. We see a lot more dads staying at home, raising these kids, right? Doing the household chores, taking the kids to and from school, sports, whatever, while mom's out there, killing it. And, kudos to us moms that are out there freaking killing it, right?
Yeah.
So, how would you say, when you're saying, like, you're seeing this dad as the leader, you've got people that have an opinion of, that he's a deadbeat dad because he's staying at home and, you're just having this woman take care of you. But
I'm gonna say this. Go ahead.
What if that's the communication of what they wanted to do?
Okay, that go back to the choice. That go back to the decision. Did they talk about this? Who accepted it? Did both parties accept it? That's what we have to look into it too. That may be something they both agreed to. Now that's their decision, which is kind of weird, but that's something they both agreed to. Did they make the decision on that?
And it ain't nobody's business.
And see, and I'm not going to say it's weird. I'm not going to say that it's weird, Furman. I think that if that is the agreement with the parents of the household, why is it that the man has to be the breadwinner? Why is it that the man has to be the one who's working outside of the home? Why does it have to be that way?
Well, let me ask you this, and I'm gonna say this: what's wrong with having? Let me ask you, and I hear the word independent, and I'm going to say all this. What's wrong with What's wrong with a man having an independent woman? What's wrong with that? Let me say that.
That depends that depends on the situation.
Well, that's not the deadbeats. I'm not worried about the deadbeat. I'm talking about a man that's responsible. First of all, a man that's already responsible, he's gonna look for a responsible woman because he knows, God forbid, if something happened to him, she know how to maintain and she know to hold everything down. He always gonna look for that. A man is not gonna look for a trifling woman. I do not want a trifling woman. I don't want a woman that's sorry. If I'm out here hustling and bustling, if something happened to me,
dependency, complacency, codependency, is that what you're falling into when it comes to that?
But that, I just believe in working together. When I say that, because if something happened, let's say God forbid something happened to you. you want somebody who has that work after that job still to keep things going afloat. Some guys get with women who they want some woman that's dumb, don't know any better. I don't know why, but I would take an independent.
It's a
woman.
controlling issue. It's
That could be. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
Because
it is true.
men, they want to own somebody and feel like, oh, this is my girl, this is my bitch, whatever. She
Get
this
that.
and that or whatever. But behind closed doors, she really ain't shit.
Or
So-
she can't leave me because she can't financially take care of herself without
Right.
without
And
me.
he knows she won't go nowhere.
Oh, so
He
I don't
knows
want. I ain't like that. I don't want that. My thing is, if we together, I do not want to handcuff you. I still want you better do your thing, enjoy your
But
life.
what she was saying was that it does happen. That what she
Right.
said is about point. That does happen where, I got this baby mama. I can just trap her here and keep her here. She ain't gonna go nowhere. She ain't gonna leave. I can just have her where I want to have her. If something don't happen or whatever, I know she's not gonna go nowhere. She gonna stay by my side. He feels like that's being again dominant. And again, for her to be an enabler, accepting his behavior, because I've witnessed that too. So that's what they fall for. And for him to say what he said, go ahead. I'm sorry, boo.
No,
What
go.
you gonna
You were still going, girl. I'm bad about interrupting. Just go. For it.
say? But for what he said, it's like again, it's a balance thing. It's where it's a team. That's even how I'm raising my kids now. We're all a team here. I don't want you to think that it's just, oh, y'all have to take care of the house and y'all have to do the dishes and all that stuff. It's a team thing because mommy got to pitch in and do it too, as a family.
Right.
So I think where it comes to girls that are wanting to have a dude that's just already established, you heard this whole incident with Marcus Houston. You heard of that. She's like, shoot, I got a man that's already established. He got money. He got a house. He got a car. He a celebrity. He got everything that I need. just like that. Boom. So that's what she's dependent on. I understood both sides. I understood where he said, okay, well, I've already dealt with all these other women that were already, that was already going through all these troubles, and I don't want to deal with that. And at the same time, I understood what other people were saying when it came to that. He said, well, that ain't cool. But then it was the situation with her when kind of started here, kind of started there. When she was 17, we were talking. No, it wasn't no kind of. It's either you did or you didn't. You were talking to her. So you already, again, you felt that she was being, again, there's these women that are very impressionable. That was very impressive of her. Like, oh, I got this. I don't need to worry about nothing. I got this baby with this man. I'm gonna have everything. That was her mindset, but he knew that. So at a point in time, I don't know if it's gonna happen because I can't predict this. But it's gonna be a point in time where she's gonna be probably in her late 30s or whatnot, and it's gonna be like, wow, I didn't even get a chance to have a life. And I think we're back to what you said,
Desiree.
You too, but back to what he was saying is that he didn't want anyone that was just very complacent, because that's what's gonna happen with her. She's gonna get lazy. She's gonna feel like, okay, I'm already established. I don't need to do anything else. I got what I need. And the older she gets, it's like, I don't have to do nothing. I don't have to worry about doing nothing.
But one of the things we have to realize is that at any time, in a blink of an eye, that established person can lose it all. Okay,
he can be gone tomorrow.
Right.
And that's what I was saying.
Look at how COVID hit, and how many people that have had these jobs forever was depending on this income, and guess what? It's gone. Look at Kim and Corey Brewerman. They're now filed for divorce. If you watch any of their shows, he was at her damn beck and call with her wig line, her product line, taking care of these babies. He adopted her other 2 kids, and now she's asking for spousal support in this divorce. He was established. He had his football career, right? He had his thing, but he was sitting there and helping her to continue to promote her business, carrying around her damn purse, chauffeuring around everywhere. And now she wants spousal
now
support.
When he don't have nothing,
and
you ain't nowhere to be found.
Like a sucker.
Yeah.
But then
now
it
that
go
he
back to
don't
the
have
beginning.
nothing, you know where to be found now when the tables on the other, when the tables turn.
But
Because
that
you have to be down for him. What's going on with that?
Right.
Well, back to the beginning of the relationship, they go back. Some people like to compromise and say they got somebody. I was watching this show, and they were doing a type of dating show, whatever. And the girl told the guy, I don't want to cook. I'm not going to cook. He likes to cook, and he wants to cook. He deep down inside, he wanted a woman that cooks.
Mhm.
But she said, I'm not going to cook, which that's her decision. That's her choice. You let know,
Right.
hey, that's what I'm going to do. And she called him out on it. He told her, well, you ain't got to worry about I do all the cooking. Then she said, you know what? You just told me what I wanted to hear instead of telling me what I need to hear. In other words, if you want a woman that cook, that's your right to have a woman that cooks. Just because I don't cook, don't mean for you to compromise with me.
Mm.
And she called them out on it. And that's what it is. Deep down inside, people got something they got their beliefs they believe in, but they don't want to lose this individual. But
Because she doesn't cook, but that's the thing. It's there's a lot of things you don't have to accept, and there's things. Well, that's back to boundaries. You know, I don't have to accept it. If you don't cook, then like what? Why? You know. Like,
And well,
what's the
and I go
problem?
back to the other thing too of, you know, we expect, like, we're out here looking for this perfect person. We've got
Mhm.
these people up on this pedestal, and we want them to have the looks, we want them to be established, we want them to be the homemakers. We expect, but the reality of it is, guess what? Not everybody has all their shit together. Okay.
No, they don't.
There's gonna be a downfall to any and every one of us. Okay.
Yes.
So maybe it's about picking and choosing. Like, you know what? He's amazing at all this other stuff, or she's amazing at all this other stuff, but she's not a cook. But what did I say before when you brought this up, you know, for a minute, is then maybe trying to find ways to do date night cooking classes, do cook in the kitchen together. I don't give a shit. Put her up on the damn countertop while she's just in there in the kitchen.
She
while
gotta
you're
do
cooking.
something. I mean,
But-
make some
Like,
cookies or something. Come on
she
now.
can peel some
God,
potatoes,
no.
okay? Like,
Okay,
there's
that-
something
Strawberry
she
doughboy
can do.
cake,
You
something.
can't be that
Betty
dumb. at
Crocker.
cooking.
but she don't want to cook. I mean, he should not
Why?
accept that.
Because she gonna end up having. Didn't they have kids? What? Then what? He ain't gonna want
But
to sit
they
there
got
and cook and feed
relationship
all the
with
kids.
But like I said,
But then
She
she
gonna
gonna
cook
be
in them
comfortable.
TV dinners.
No, there's gonna have to be some adjustments because that's where she gonna get too comfortable. No, somebody got to cook.
oh,
I
that's
would
right.
say it's the
Like,
Frankenstein
if somebody
effect.
tell you,
Do what, Daquan?
I mean, it go by choice. It go by decision. Let's say somebody say they into open relationship. They tell your friend, "Hey, I believe in having open relationships." Will you accept that person if they say they tell your friend, "I'm into having open relationship"? They say that's what they believe in. That's what they like. Would you accept the individual like that?
I mean, that's obviously your preference. Like, if it truly doesn't bother you, then it doesn't bother you. And I know
True.
I have friends that are, you know, they have a very open relationship, okay? And they've been together for longer than I could even begin to sit here and tell you guys. Like, it works
Yeah.
for them. It works
Yeah.
because they communicated from the beginning.
They talk.
Now me on the other hand,
Yeah.
now I ain't trying to share you with nobody. What's mine is mine, okay? And I'm not gonna have to sit there and worry and feel insecure if, you know, you're spending more time with her, or I'm sorry for this, like, is her pussy feeling better than mine? Like, I'm not gonna be worried about all that kind of business, right? I'm not gonna worry about whether or not I'm
STDs.
right? You know,
think
or
we out there.
who else is she sleeping with? So, but again, is it okay? Like, I'm gonna do that. Like, if you have a friends with benefits, right? So you obviously can see multiple people if that's what you want to do. You can still have a healthy friends with benefits relationship because you have to know that you have that communication. You have to know that you
Right.
can't be territorial, and obviously the smartest way to go about it is obviously being open and honest about obviously sleeping with how many extra people are you sleeping with on the side. Because
Right.
I don't need you dipping and dabbling that in something else and then dipping it back in me and me
Right.
thinking like you're not being this whore, and obviously you are. But you know, again, it's about, if you respect yourself, you're not going to be that person. And but you can't judge somebody if they want to have an open relationship, no more than
Right.
you know, even, you know, going back to the dad staying at home, I'm going to argue with that one, and it doesn't mean you have to agree with me for a minute, but again, we're going back to saying that dads don't get that right to raise their children because they should be the men of the house.
Yeah.
That's the same thing of saying a dad doesn't get the right to say whether you can have an abortion. A dad doesn't get the right to say that. What makes me, just because I'm a female, what makes it my job and what gives me that seniority to be able to stay home and raise the kids, and you don't? You see, it's changing. Now we have so many companies that are definitely recognizing that fathers should get that same time off from work. that moms get off. You know why? Because it's important. And it's important because the fact that we need that help at the house. When we're going
That
through
part.
shit, you want to know why we're having some postpartum? Because while you're gone all day, and even though if you're busting your ass, I don't care if you're out on the oil field and it's a shitty ass job, to the woman at home who just gave birth to a kid and is now feeling awful about her body, got a crying ass baby, no damn sleep, that postpartum sets in, we start to resent you. We're hating you because you get to go out that side of the house.
Yeah, you ain't got to
We
do all
gonna
of that.
We gonna hate because I don't believe in all that hating. And first of all, that kind of stuff ain't gonna happen like that anyway. Because at the end of the day, he's still gonna benefit and he's still gonna help out. Vice versa. Let's say if you went to work and you at work and I'm off, I'm gonna make sure the house is clean. I'm gonna make sure dinner ready. Because when you come in, you're gonna be hungry. You want to
That
come
part.
home to peace, right? So
Yeah.
it balances everything out. Just like I made that post today. If the guy out there cutting grass, the wife's gonna bring him bring a cooler of water for him to drink. It goes hand in hand. So it's that team there. Okay, if you try to burn out, he's gonna take over everything while you get yourself together and have your me time. That's what I believe in. It may sound like it's a fantasy, and it may sound like I'm being crazy, but I'm going by what I believe.
I hear what you're saying, but also I'm going to throw this out here, and this is where I am going to pull the gender role. You ain't never had a damn kid, okay? You've never had a damn kid come up out of that vagina. You don't know what your body's going through. You don't know what your hormones are going through. And I promise you, when I say that there's that hate there for him being outside the house, I'm not literally saying like we're all just hating ass women, right? But at the end of the day, our emotions are going 90 to nothing. We do feel that resentment. We do sit there. We would give anything to trade places so that, you know, we could have that break. To us, it's like you guys are getting a break. We're not getting a break.
How are we getting a break? How's the guy getting a break?
You're missing my point. You're missing my point from it. I just said, even if it's on an oil field and it's the shittiest freaking job, the fact of the matter is that we feel staying at home with these kids, our hormones are going crazy, baby's crying, everything's a hot mess. I promise you, it feels like it's a break to that woman. If you don't understand it, then you don't understand postpartum.
No, because what I'm getting at is it may seem like you're doing this by yourself. So what role is he playing? You seem like you're doing it by yourself. That's what I'm trying to get. If you feel like you're doing this by yourself?
If he's at work, what if he works a 12-hour shift?
Okay, so what he does,
what if we're breastfeeding? You guys can't breastfeed. If
okay,
we're
but
breastfeeding, we're still
sound
in
like
the middle of the night.
You sound like you're doing it by yourself. So what is he there for besides working? So you don't think he's gonna help? He's not gonna help out?
I can understand both sides here. So with her, what she's saying is it's more of a, because he's gone, it's not like he has the baby literally majority of the time, what she's saying, because he's out and about, he's doing his thing. It doesn't matter what kind of job he's doing or whatever. And she's still got to put up with all this mess. It's like, okay, I got to turn around and feed him. I got to turn around and change the diapers. I got to turn around and feed him again when I just got done feeding him. I'm still trying to sleep. I can't sleep now because the baby's starting crying. The baby's getting sick. The baby's doing this and that and the third. Now, on your end, I understand what you're saying because you're like, well, I'm working to try to make sure that y'all are good. Is that what you were saying?
But I'm talking about coming in helping out. It may seem like you're doing it by yourself.
Right.
But you think that
she's feeling that that's what it is.
No, but
we're saying that that's how a woman feels when you've had a baby. That's how you're feeling. You don't think that we sit there and say, gosh, we'd give anything to be able to go and talk to other adults throughout the day. We don't, because all we have is this baby that doesn't get to talk back to us. Right?
Like, what kind of man you with? I mean, because
in reality, that's what happens. If the man is the leader and you're saying he should be working and we're home with the kid, you can't stay home and breastfeed a child. It's not like we can flip the roles.
Who said somebody staying at home? I mean, who would say somebody staying at
home? We don't have to stay at home. We can't go to work right after we have a baby.
Okay, but you don't think he's not going to help out with his child, his seed, his blood? You don't think he's going to help out with that? You think he's just going to put everything on you?
You're missing what I'm saying. If you're going out and you're working a 12-hour shift, if you're going out and you're working a 12-hour shift, by that time, we've already got this baby ready for bed. But guess who still has to get up and breastfeed throughout the night?
Okay, you talking about breastfeeding, but besides breastfeeding, what else he gonna be doing? You don't think he's not gonna go in there and change diapers, bathe the baby, make sure the baby got formula and all the other stuff? Come on, that's his child too. He gonna step in and play his man role as well.
So basically, what she's saying is, as far as his efforts and what he's doing outside the house when she's taking care of the baby, like there's no, it's just he can just hold the baby and put the baby down, change it, and just going about his business. With her, it's a little bit more than that. That's what she's saying.
I'm not saying he's not helping when he comes home in the evening. It's during that daytime that we feel that.
Okay, but you said that, but it's like, to me, it's like he's still gonna help their being. I understand what you're saying from how you feeling, but have y'all talked about this too? It's a communication thing.
Even if you communicate it, it does not change the reality that we cannot go to work right after having a baby. It does not change that we're breastfeeding the child. At the end of the day, we can argue about this all day long until you've had a child.
It's not argument. It's really not argument.
Through postpartum, you will never truly understand.
No, it's not argument, because you talking about going back to work. It's not argument. That's something you have to talk about in the beginning. Had this stuff been talked about? Had it been addressed?
What am I going to say if I talk about it in the beginning? If I say, listen, I'm going to pop out a kid, and because I know that I'm going to be jealous that you can go out and still interact with other people and step away from the baby. Guess what? I'm gonna leave you home with the baby, and you try to breastfeed. Okay. That's not a conversation.
But I think that's what he was. I guess what he was trying to say is that, you know, from the time that y'all preparing to have this child, like, okay, I already know that I'm gonna have to work this certain amount of time or certain amount of hours, or you know, I know you're gonna be with the baby at this such time, but then when I get home, I can do this and that and the third. That's I think that's what he's saying.
I'm saying he's helping when he comes home. I'm just saying, like, you can't predict if you're gonna have postpartum, right? You can't predict that. You don't know. That's not something you can prepare for, like, of how you're gonna react to that. You also can't prepare for whether or not if you're gonna have a colic child or not, or a child that's born with disabilities. That's not something you can prepare for in prior to getting pregnant and know how to handle that situation. You don't know until you get in that situation. All I was simply saying is that we do feel that way. Like, it does happen. That's the reality of it. No more than, I'm not saying that he's wrong for going out and working and providing. I'm not saying that he's wrong for it. I'm trying to say this is how it feels for a woman who is at home with a child. So if a man wants to stay, now that you can go back to work, you go back and slay and do your thing. What's wrong with him staying home now and take care of the child that we've gotten past that stage?
Okay, that's what we have to talk about. Hey, y'all talk about this before having children. That's another thing too, because sometimes people don't want to have kids, or they do want to have kids. They sit down how they gonna plan everything out.
Or it's unexpected, and then we got to figure out what needs to happen.
Yeah, that's
I was on birth control. I was on birth control when I got pregnant with my first kid. There was no preparing because we were preparing not to have children. So,
well, I guess that's what he's saying too, because since that has happened to you, like, it's happening now. So now you still have to prepare it. So now you still got to try to prepare because the baby is on the way here, even though that was unexpected. Like, what is the next step now? It's like, okay, this is happening. So now we got to this is plan B. So now we got to figure out what we need to do next. I think that's what he's saying. I get what she's saying, because it's just so much emotions and so much that she's got to deal with. Because, you know, I've dealt with postpartum as well. So I get what she's saying on that aspect. But then I also see where you're coming from too, because it's like, you know, did this all get planned out? Did this all get discussed? Was this all on a blueprint before this baby even came about? But then there's going to be U-turns. There's going to be other distractions and all that stuff going on from what she's saying as well. She's saying, okay, this might happen. He might have a disability. The child, you know, might be stuck in the hospital or whatnot. Other things just might come up. So it's again, it sounds like it's really a lot of preparation when it comes to that situation.
That's all I was saying. Because when you talk about that, when you get with someone, they may not want kids. They may want children, but it's something you have to talk about. Or if it do happen unexpected, okay, now I've got to go to a plan. What we going to do? How we need to sit down and plan together as one, as a team, to make this thing work. That's what I was just saying. Because it's not a one-sided thing. It's a us thing. It's me, you against the world type thing. This is our legacy. This is our seed. And we want to make sure that our seed is taken care of, healthy, going to the doctor's appointments together, going to these things we got to do together, learn together. Because if he's a real man, he's going to be along with you every step of the way. Because he wants to know the ins and outs, the do's and don'ts, to make sure the baby is taken care of. And I understand women have emotions, but he gonna still fight that with you by your side.
Now, from where she's coming from, though, it might be where he might say those things and might be prepared, and then when it comes, he ain't nowhere to be found. It's just like, oh, okay, so now she has to. That's where a lot of postpartum comes in. That happened to me. The son's father was like, hey, I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And the third, all this other planning that was coming out. So I just had this baby. I'm just like, oh, I'm not in shape. I'm just feeling bad. I'm just tired all the time. Hey, I shouldn't have to beg you to come over here and say, hey, he's out of diapers. Then I have to call you again. Then I have to say, hey, like, I called you earlier and told you needed diapers. I'm sitting here, this baby's crying. I think that's where she's saying, like, it's just, don't talk about it, be about it. When the baby comes. So do it. If you're not going to do it, this is what I'm going to be going through, and that's not going to be fair on my part. I'm already dealing with postpartum already.
Right.
And you don't understand that. And that's what I want. I think that's where she's trying to say, well, postpartum does need to be taken seriously, and all those other type of emotions need to be taken seriously. I just popped out a baby. And you think just going out there, it's like, okay, I'll just, leave her alone for a little bit. No, you don't need to leave me alone. You need to be here. Period. Like today. Not tomorrow, not in another hour. You need to be here ASAP and take care of this child. I'm sitting here breastfeeding there. I ain't got no more milk left right now. So go get me some milk and Pampers. Simple. That's a baby.
You've been in the middle of the night to the store when you need stuff. And you just get up and go to the store in the middle of the night.
But then that's where I came about, and I said, okay, just in case this didn't happen, I prepared myself. I had milk. I had all this other stuff ready. I had diapers and everything. I had all the clothes that he needed. I had everything already because I was like, okay, he's all talk, but is he really gonna do it? He didn't do it, but I was already prepared.
But see, then this is where we get into this thing about when we say we can be independent women, like because we can prepare for things that we might be stuck in. But then you have Herman here who was asked all the time about this whole being an independent woman. And the whole reason I even brought up that whole situation is because of the fact that, about the fact that if a dad wants to stay at home and she goes out, there shouldn't be anything wrong with that. If you think it's abnormal, I don't think that it's abnormal. And so, it's just a matter of if that's what you agree on, that's what you agree on. That's no different than if you guys agree on.
Actually, just twist my words. You just really twist my words. I said that's a decision they made. Now, if she choose to be with a guy like that, then that's on her. That's on her choice. But I don't agree with that. So you twist.
That's what I'm saying. No, I'm saying you don't agree with it, as in you don't think that is right because you don't agree with it. That's how somebody would do it. That's what I'm saying. It's not twisting your words. If you can say, I'm never going to be that man. I don't agree that I would do that. But why are we judging if that's what they choose to do? If that's what they agreed on?
But that's what I was saying. That's the choice they made. Now, if he decided to stay at home, she wanted to go to work. That's their household and that's their decision.
Okay, it was a discussion between the two.
Yeah, that's something they agreed to. So if that's something they agreed to, that's their business. Somebody had to agree somewhere to it.
I always say it's kind of like the Frankenstein effect. We take parts from others in the past that we dealt with, how they act, how they talk, what the bedroom like, all that, and we try to piece together the person that stands in front of us. And we want all the expectations, we want all the you should know hows, but we humans, none of us is growing at the rate probably we should be growing because a lot of us ain't, constantly seeking that.
Yeah.
So it's like we come across a lot of problems because we're not giving the person in front of us the opportunity to be themselves because we know we'll run first if something's imperfect, but that with the perfection we're looking for is somebody we're supposed to be done with. And I think we're not taking into account to say, hey, I need you to be you and I need to give you time to be you with me since we're new so you can develop who you actually are. And it would take patience. Yes, you can do the talking like a man. He's not a man the moment he come out of his mother. It takes at least 40 years for that man to become a man, think like a man, work like a man. Even though you see him younger, it's going to take time for him to really comprehend a family, a wife, the children, all of that. And I think we're not giving each other enough time on that. For a child, I can get, yes, you ain't no talking. You just have to do that. We brought that child here, do it. But anything extra past the child, like on a personal level, a man could forget and a woman could forget to do that. That's natural, but a simple, read chat can fix that. But I think we got to give more people time to be themselves and not what we're expecting them to be based off points of views from the past.
I agree with you on that, Devon, and I think you're right.
That is a good point.
Yeah, and we're always like kind of that whole thing of we're too quick to speak instead of to hear. We're also doing that same thing in relationships. We're automatically assuming that this person's going to have that same toxic thing that another one did, or if we want them to have the good things that toxic person had. So you're right on saying that that we do focus a lot on that. Like, why can't we're like, if he could be this guy but also be this guy and be this guy, and I can just have it in one guy, like this would be the perfect guy. But how do you not know that he's not already the perfect guy if you're not just letting him be himself? Because you're already in your head trying to stitch his ass together to be this ideal guy that you want him to be.
I had to learn that. I did. Especially with my boys too. Like when I had started to take them to therapy, I started them very young, taking them to therapy. But then as they got older and I'm like, okay, I'm to the point where, because the therapist would tell me, they would say, okay, well, you can stay in here and you can talk for him and stuff like that. I was like, that's the thing. I don't really want to do that. I want to see where his head is. Now, it's not like I'm disappeared, I'm gone, and I'm just letting them two talk. Like, I literally just step outside the room.
Right.
And I just let him talk. Because I'm like, he needs to have that privacy too. My youngest one's 14. And I don't know, you probably had that too with your kids. I don't know if you've taken them to therapy or whatnot, and they just kind of have their space or whatever. Because there's certain things that they want to communicate with us, and there's certain things that they don't want to communicate with, especially with them girls. Because they think, with my kids, they thought, okay, I can't talk to my mom about this. I'm like, well, you can. You don't know. You think you know, but you don't know. But if you don't have to. That's the thing. So if you want to talk to, your therapist, which is a guy, I said, go ahead. You have that every right. You have a voice. You're supposed to have a voice. And that's where, like what Daquan was saying, as far as having the time to grow, because you got to see where his head is logically. Like I go back to Scrappy again, and I keep thinking about this dude because the mama was always thinking for him, like telling him to do this, go back over here with this girl, leave this other girl alone. And he's just like, Mom, like, no, you don't need to think for me. He's like, she was saying, well, I know your truth. And he said, no, you don't. I know my truth, but you need to know about your truth. And I'm telling you, that really stuck out to me. And that's where I had to really get myself to understand that my kids need to know their own truth too. I can't just have them on my titty all day and say, oh, okay, well, this is what you got to say. No, I'm a step over here and speak up. You got to see what's on your mind. These are young Black men, because there's a point in time where they're going to have their boiling point, and they're going to break down, and they're going to be like, Mom, I never got a chance to speak. I never got a chance to say anything. I never got a chance to grow because you're telling me this and that, and this is not what it was. It just didn't feel right. But then I'm walking around on eggshells. I don't want to say this to you because I don't want to hurt your feelings. I got that. I was like, oh man, that's not right. That ain't cool. So the therapy part is where I put that in when it came to the kids, because I want them to say what's on their minds, and I want them to feel like, dang, I wanted to say this to my mom, but it wasn't right. So I rather say it to you because you're a guy. I know as far as society, I know, but I don't know. But so tell me about it. Talk to me about it. So I had to really sit back and be like, you know what, this is a good thing. I have to, because I cannot raise a boy to be a man. I just can't do it. You can tell me the ins and outs, the birds and the bees all day, but it is hard when it comes to a different, the opposite as far as gender, how to raise them. You cannot do it. You can't. And I wasn't forcing myself to do it. It's just because I was naturally their mother. It's like I'm their mom, so I have to tell them all the birds and the bees. But there's going to be things where you do not, or when you can't talk to them about those certain things. It's like, ooh, you know what? Maybe I can get somebody else to do that.
See, and I don't know, like, and I know, even with my girlfriend and stuff, maybe it's not the norm. So my sons came to me when they lost their virginity. My sons, they didn't go to their dad, and I literally called their dad, and I was like, I'm bringing, my oldest son, when he lost his virginity, I'm like, I'm bringing him over. We need to sit down. We need to talk to him as parents together. Like, this is a co-parenting moment.
Yeah,
we're gonna have this discussion about safe sex. we got there and my ex-husband was like, I'm not doing this. And I'm like, what? And he's like, I'm not going to do. And so I said, it has to be done. Like, if we don't prepare him for the things that he needs to know, like, then we're failing our child, right? So,
because they're going to look at their upbringing. If he gets a girl pregnant out here, and you know, like you said earlier, reputation. He has this good reputation or whatnot, and he's trying to prepare for this child, but then other people saying, oh, he's this and that, don't believe him, don't do this and that and the third, and then they're gonna be like, okay, well, where's his parents at? How was his upbringing? So no, the dad needs to get involved too with everything.
See, and my ex is not the one who talked to them about it, and they've never, like, you know, and I'm not saying he's a bad father. They love their dad.
Yeah.
They talk to their dad. You know what I'm saying? It's different. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess it's one of the things that I am truly blessed on, but I think it also is from the beginning of, I did that whole communication thing with my sons from day one. Mm-hmm. From day one, we talked about that open communication thing, and it never wavered. I never, you know, steered from the truth or hid things from them. And they respected me for that. They knew that if she can trust me with this, I can trust her with this. And so it has always been me that they've come to, you know, when my other son got his girlfriend, you know, pregnant, and, you know, I have the most beautiful, you know, granddaughter now, you know. Aww. I text my ex-husband. I was like, are you going to tell your dad? And he was like, no, like, he'll find out. I'm like, you got to tell your dad he's going to be a grandpa. I'm the one who, you know, sent over the picture of the pregnancy test, you know, to my ex-husband. And so, but I've just been blessed, I guess, that they have come to me for those things that they should have been going to their dad on.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they have turned out to be amazing young men. And, you know, my youngest is an amazing father. I've never seen somebody who has loved a child at such a young age, loved his child so much and want to be a part of her life every single day. And so, but I do see where there could be, you know, where you said about going to therapy. Like, mine never did go to therapy.
Yeah.
But, you know, I say they didn't go to therapy. They talked to me. They cried to me whenever it was tough. They cried to me when they didn't understand about the divorce. They cried to me when they were angry at me for the divorce, you know? And so, and I had to actually just take accountability and say, you're entitled to feel that way. You can be upset with me for breaking up our home because it was my choice to get a divorce. Like, I had to understand, I can't deny them of those feelings. I can't say those feelings are wrong. That's no different than if I had feelings and I was going to them on it. How can you tell somebody else that their feelings or their emotions are wrong emotions or feelings?
Right.
You have to let them voice it. You have to be silent. You have to listen, and you have to let them know that their opinion is valid in their view. You don't know what child's going. You know what that child's going through and how it makes them feel.
I'm telling you, my 14-year-old is like that. My oldest one, he'll say something. He'll just be kind of like, okay, mom, yeah. But my youngest one, now I'm gonna tell you, I told him, I said, you need to be a debater or a lawyer, attorney or something, because he was to the point where he's like, I don't want to sit here, keep holding it. He's like, mom, you doing this and you're like this and like this. And I was like, just say what you mean. He's like, I'm just gonna be real. I'm like, mom, this is crazy. I'm like, oh wow, okay, yeah, I need to fix that. He's like, that's all I gotta say. So I still love you, mom. I'm gonna give you kisses, hugs, stuff like that. But he's like, I'm just gonna say it.
But isn't it great that they feel they can talk to you like that and you not be offended? You know, because at the end of the day, guess what? That's teaching them. Later on, they know that if things go to shit later on in life, I can still go to my mom, and my mom is going to be there for me. And you know, when my sons were old enough that they could actually go over for play dates to somebody else's house, and mom wasn't going to be there, you know, and that was around the age of 4 and 5, they would go to just down the street at a best friend's house, but I gave them a cell phone. The cell phone couldn't call anywhere outside of, the county and stuff. And everybody was like, are you kidding me? Have you lost your mind? And I said, coming from an individual who was sexually abused and somebody who is educated, in that field, because I have a master's in social work, I said, you think that if a child is in anybody else's home and boys are getting molested just like girls, if that child goes to any other home, and you might think the parents to another home, but we also think we know our preachers. We also think that we know the teachers, right? It happens from the people you least expect it from. So I would tell my kids, like, you think if something was going down, even if it wasn't molestation, just say that the parents got into a physical altercation, somebody was intoxicated, are my kids gonna be able to go to them and say, I'm not comfortable here, I need to call my mom? And those parents actually just say, here's the phone, call your mom, tell them that the house is on fire.
Right.
Or do my kids have access to push mom's number, push 1 and pound, and call mom and say, Mom, I need you to come get me. No questions asked. I'm going to go get my kids. I kept that line of communication instilled in them from day one and all the way, even raising them as teens. You know, they're going to fall on their ass. They're going to go and do stupid stuff just like we did as teenagers, right? It's about how you teach them to grow from those mistakes that can only improve things. And so when they wanted to go to parties and I knew there would be alcohol involved, it's either they could be sneaky and go behind my back and me not know what's going on with my kids, or they would say, Mom, you know, there's going to be alcohol there. And I would tell them, okay, listen, here's the deal. If you go and it gets busted, you understand that there are consequences. You would get an MIP. So if you want to deal with that and there goes your sports, then you can make that decision. But I'd also tell them, when they did decide to go to things, I would tell them, you don't get behind the wheel with anybody that's been under the influence, not even one drink. You don't get behind the wheel, even with one drink. You keep your ass there. If you're ready to leave, I'll come and pick you up. And even if they were under the influence when I got there as minors, I did not scold them for being under the influence, because I wanted to, to applaud them for the fact that they called instead of making stupid decisions. And I think that was so big on, especially as a single mom raising, you know, any kid, daughters, sons, it don't matter. You have to know that, you know, that communication is key to making sure that, you know, your kids are safe.
Right, exactly. I wanted to ask a question to the guest, Ms. AD.
What's going on?
So curious, when you defend the men, do you ever get negative, harsh backlash from women because they kind of, you know,
all the time?
I was just gonna say,
all the time. I get, oh, you think you're all that? You're just trying to be the pick me girl, or you're trying to get all these men, and you're trying to do this, and I'm like, no, because I know what I want. I'm just, again, I get girls that go in my inbox and tell me like, okay, you're only sticking up for them, so why are you not sticking up for us? But I turn around and ask them, who's already sticking up for us? And I'll put that whole list. I'll send a picture of Derek Jackson. I'll send a picture of this person. I'll send a picture of this person. I'll send a picture of whoever. I was like, so what's the deal now? I'm like, y'all are so contradicting and so hypocritical. Like, y'all really are. And, you know, like this one incident, this girl said, well, this dude was telling me this and tell me that, and he was nobody, and you didn't even support me on it. And I said, no, I told you to ask your questions that you're supposed to ask, and you didn't do that. You was looking at the fact he had all these cars, he had this house. Oh girl, he got this nice old house and everything. I said, okay, but where is he getting all this from? Is he really getting it from, like, is he really just doing it, or is he like doing it another way? How is he getting it? Oh, well, you know, no. It again, it's either this or that. Which one is it? And I would tell him, you know, she's like, well, yeah, girl, he got another girl pregnant. I said, oh, but you was looking at everything else.
Yep.
But then he a hoe. But I told you to start asking. I said, not ask questions. I said, ask open-ended questions.
Yes,
don't
that's
ask yes
important.
No.
Yes.
What type of upbringing? Where does your family live? What not? You know, because again, I said, as a woman, we naturally investigate. You can't always assume. So I told her. I said, okay. So, what kind of question did you ask him? I didn't really ask him anything. We was just at dinner, and he was just. I said, oh, so you got distracted. You got to ask open-ended questions because you so uptight. You showing the pictures of the lobsters and shrimps and all that, and the butter being melted on the food and everything. That's what you was pressed about. You weren't pressed about the fact that you need to take the time to actually ask open-ended questions like I told you. So now she was going on this big old rant on social media that niggas ain't shit. He was this. He was trying to take me out just to do this. And then I told him, no, he got another girl pregnant now. Well,
because you didn't do your homework. You didn't do what you should have done.
For one, you dodged the bullet.
Right? Look at count your blessings.
Could have had an STD. He could have had all this other stuff, but you was looking at everything else he had on social media. Everything that he had on social media wasn't what you thought it was.
You were blinded by
So-
materialistic things.
Yes.
But I love when you said that you get them in your inbox, because if I post anything that's about, about how men deserve to feel wanted to or something like that,
They should
my
be.
my inbox will start hitting. And you know what my
We
reply is?
need these men.
Do
We
you know
need
what
them.
my reply to every one of them are? Is that post has an open comment section.
Because
Comments are not
all
turned
this
off.
talking and all this message y'all talking about dudes ain't shit, but then when your tire pops on the side of the
Who we
freeway,
calling?
you quick to call a dude on I just get the tire fixed. You can't sit there and say that you don't need them.
Look at it, and I tell them though, they're like, why would you not defend the females on this? And I'll be like, if you feel the need to defend the females, the comment section is open. Defend them.
Man.
Defend them. Like, you're allowed to do that, but this is my opinion, and I think that they should have a voice too. And if that voice comes from me, I'm gonna post that voice.
No fucks to give. Because
Look,
I'm eating them. I don't have no crumbs on my plate when it comes to that. I have to learn it because I'm like, dude, I gotta take account for my actions before I even put all this out there. I gotta take accountability and sit back like, dang, I gotta take accountability too. I gotta do this. So I'm like, okay, now that I've done it and I've experienced it, now this is all out in the open now. Because y'all hear these people say, oh, well, why y'all keep talking about modern women? Well, I'm gonna tell you why. Because this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. Well, there's no such thing as modern women, but y'all saying men ain't shit though. Y'all saying men ain't shit, but then you're sitting here saying all these different things about, oh, well, I don't need to sit here and try to have like this one incident where I saw on social media on Instagram where this girl was saying that the dude is I'm entitled to have my dude pay for my man or for my homegirl's dinner and my dinner. How are you entitled?
she said she was entitled to it.
She said she was entitled to have her. Now, mind you, this was like the first second date that she had with this dude. This is a different generation, like you said. Stop.
Her homegirls or her daughters?
No, the homegirls.
Why are you bringing your homegirls out to
She said the dude that she was talking to, and the thing about it is I didn't even know if they was established or not. If they was if they was actually a couple, if they was actually what do you call it? Exclusive.
Exclusive,
Yes. So she was like, well, this is my birthday party, and he was getting all hostile, like, I thought it was just, I'm doing this for you, not for them.
She was
trying
to try to front in front of her girlfriends as if like my dude's got some money, he could cover everything. She wanted that for her own appearance. That's all that was for.
Yeah,
and that's the one that had the dress on. She had a little dress on. That girl.
I think so. They was at the restaurant. They was getting ready to leave. They was leaving or something like that. She had all her homegirls standing behind her, and she was saying, "Oh, I can't believe you sit there and you don't want to pay for me and my friend's dinner. Why not?" He's like, "I'm not here for them. I'm not entitled to pay for everybody's dinner. This is your birthday, not their birthday."
But that's what I don't understand either. Too, why they put themselves in these positions for. Now, some guys just do anything. I'm just gonna say some guys do anything for pussy. They don't care.
That too.
I'm just saying they'll do anything for pussy.
About that one.
They do anything for pussy too now. Because they'll compromise, being great.
Yes. Again, you sit here trying to groom the girl. I'm gonna give you the world. I'm gonna give you this. I'm gonna give you that. I'm gonna fly you out here, and I'm gonna get you these nice little shoes. We can go shopping and all this and that.
Baby, I need actions, not words.
Vagina.
Look, I need action, not words, and it needs to be consistent action.
No, they do all that stuff for it. Now they will buy stuff
just
for
to get it.
Think, oh, he do.
Well,
that's it. That's just
the
manipulation. That's just the way you eat.
There's women that are disrespecting themselves just so they can get all that treatment.
Right. That's what I said about old girl. And she got caught up in it, and then he got another girl pregnant. So I'm like, I was like, girl, at least you dodged the bullet. Because then I found out, I actually did my own investigation about this dude. He had like 6 kids before that. I said, you didn't know he had these other kids? Because I know other people that know other people that know other people that knew him. But you thought you knew him. He had 6 other kids. And he's about to have another one. So you thought he was all game? Girl, bye.
I I'm such an
Yeah.
investigator. Even when my kids date somebody, like I'm looking them up. I'm looking to see what criminal record they
Yes.
got. When my brother dates a chick, I'm looking up to see what has she been. Does she ever had any CPS cases open up on her? Like I am that person, okay? Because I want my brother to be with a good person. I want my niece to be around a good female, right? And so, because I'm auntie to her, but I'm also mother to her. As her mom's locked up. So for me, if there's another female coming in the picture, you better make damn sure she's up to standards, right? There's nothing gonna be hidden in those closets from her. And so oh my gosh, my son just texted me and said that his girlfriend locked her keys in her car somewhere. How does the car lock? Like it's a how do you lock? You can't lock your keys in the car. Like the remote's not supposed to let you do that, right? Y'all, this is what I'm talking about. At 22 years old, mama's still needed. This is called mom security.
Mm-hmm.
My babies will always need mama.
So, and social media is the worst part of it, because before social media, I'm telling you, we didn't have it to where, oh, well, this dude needs to be this way, this female needs to be that way. I'm telling you, that's why I love and applaud my parents, because they've been together for 39 years.
That's a blessing.
And I mean, I'm sitting here thinking, you know what? And I'm telling you, I had a friend that talked to me about this too, because I'm like, dang, everybody's sitting on social media making it look like this and that. And it's just like, dang, what they got going on over there? But it's not what it is. Like, social media is literally full of crap. Everybody's bragging about their relationship. Everybody's bragging about money. Everybody's bragging about, oh, my girl is this, my husband's that. But then he beating on your ass every other day. Like, what? No, I don't. That's why I don't even really believe everything. That's
Honey,
why when I put stuff
that's
out
why
there.
Facebook should be called Two-Face.
Girl,
To
yes.
Facebook, because it's the other side of the face.
Yeah. And that's why that's why I post about both ends. I don't just post about what women go through either, because I'm like, we already know that. Like, us women, we know what we go through. We know this stuff. We know that these dudes are sorry and all this other stuff. There's dudes out there that are sorry, but we sorry too. We ain't shit.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
know we ain't shit. Busting
know-
windows.
We also know that we can. We also know that we have the.
Going to
pool,
jail.
We get mad.
We
Go to
know that we
jail.
have the power of the P. Let's be
You,
honest.
yes, you
We have
still.
the power of the P. We could use that P to get what we want. So, and don't think that there's not a lot of trifling women out there that are using that P exactly to get what they want out of a man. Okay.
You crying
Y'all
and,
wrong
and
for
bitching
that.
and
Well, you know
moaning
what?
because
That's because he don't care about himself and he gullible and he'll do anything for instead of telling her no. He just want to get some cash, and she know that.
right.
Man, women know that. Women know a dude. Okay, he just wants some cash. All right,
Right.
I'm just gonna take him for a run.
Yeah.
And then that's all he wants. She gonna pick that up off the bat. Cause that's what he about anyway. He'll bend and break, and then when he don't get it, he made it.
Making us fight our nature like that.
But at the end of the day, the truth,
You
she's
better
so
learn how to. Hey, you
right.
better learn how to jack off. Hey,
Look at, she is so right though on the fact that women can be just as bad at dogs as men. It's so easy to blame the men for everything and say how they're the worst of the worst. But I assure you, there are some dirty ass women doing some dirty ass things to men too. Okay.
Ooh.
And
What's that judge's name? What's the lady's name? The one that's in Houston, the black chick. Y'all seen that girl? That lady that's the judge. She got on them women too. She don't play that. This one episode that she had where the mama, she quit her job that she made about 80K or 80K or something like that. She said she quit that job. And the baby daddy was like, yeah, she quit the job and everything. So now she's not making enough. She works at 7-Eleven now. And the judge, the lady judge, because she's black. And the judge looked at him like, so she said, so why did you quit your job? She said, well, because I didn't want to pay a whole lot on child support. She said, oh no, you gonna pay. Regardless if you work at 7-Eleven or not. You just gonna quit your job from making 80K to like $30,000 because you don't feel like you're entitled to pay so much more. So she said, oh no, you gonna pay. Regardless, she said, if you work the 7-Eleven job, you're going to pay $800 some odd dollars a month. Still. I said, she just sat there and she wanted to leave her job from 80K, making all this money, just, being cool. But then when it came to that child, it was like, oh, I'm a downgrade. I'm a back up because I got to take care of this child, but I don't feel entitled to pay this much. No, honey, boo boo.
But see, and
You
that's
are
just another
fat.
example too of the fact that there are moms that are not moms.
Yes.
You know,
That's why
we're
that's
so
what
quick
she-
to say these
that's why
dudes
the
don't want
child
to pay
was for
child
him.
support. They don't want to take care of their kid. We're so quick to
'Cause
assume
she don't
that
feel
it's
entitled.
the dad. Right, you know what I'm saying? But there's moms that are doing that same shady shit.
But then turns around, has another dude that she talking to take care of his kids, but not your own. That makes absolutely no sense to me. You're taking care of somebody else's, but you don't want to take care of your own child, and you want to sit there and not keep your job that you was making 80K from. You want to sit there and work at a little 7-Eleven, and you feel like, oh well, I'm not entitled to do it, but then I'm gonna just help his other kids over here. He got 3. That ain't even hers. And
Well,
you
in
know,
the end, she's paying a hell of a lot more because if she's still stuck paying that $800 and she took that $50,000 pay cut, she came out looking real silly.
yes, I'm telling you, y'all go on YouTube and y'all see it. It's on there because she was not having it. I was like, ooh, child, y'all just as dumb as I don't even know what. But yeah, she be getting on the females too. She don't play that. Mm-mm.
I mean, it's all about accountability. It's not pointing the finger at everybody. It's all about accountability. No, you don't hear people start the inner circle, who you accept in your circle. And I think the woman mentioned something about the process. Once you start learning who you are, and you learn your worth, you learn your value, you won't tolerate foolishness because you know
At all. Period.
and that's what it is. You know what you'll tolerate, what you won't tolerate. And you hear people all talking about, well, why your standards so high? Because you love yourself. That's why your standards so high. Because you're not going to sell anything less. You're not going to sell games, lying, deceit, whatever else. Because you know your worth now, and it's not wrong with that. And I think that's
Nothing
what
wrong
it
with
is.
that.
Because you learn who you are now. So you know your
Yeah.
worth. You're not going to accept any and everybody. And you're going to see past their game. You're going to see past their BS.
Yeah.
It's because we know if you know what you can bring to a table, you also know that you're comfortable eating at that table alone until you have the right person to eat dinner with.
Well,
Right.
say that again, that's right.
When you know,
Say that one more time for the bag.
say that for the back. When you know what you bring to the table, you're okay to eat at that table alone until you have somebody that's right at the table with you.
I mean,
There you go. That's it right there.
By myself, cause yeah, cool. I'm
That's
cool with
it.
that.
And you know,
and then with or without anybody,
and that's
regardless.
like such a real thing because look how many people say I can't go to a restaurant by myself. I'm not going to go sit at a booth
Yes,
by
you
myself.
can.
Baby, if you are confident in who you
Girl,
are,
you
you
gonna
don't
get
have
you
to have
that
somebody.
margarita.
You can
Sit
want
there and
somebody.
chill.
You can want somebody, and it's nice to have somebody to share that with.
It
But
is.
if you just invite any Joe Blow to come have margaritas with you, baby, you're settling. You're cutting yourself short. Keep that table, keep that booth open for the right person to come sit at that booth and enjoy that margarita.
Yes.
That's it. Love yourself. Tell the fellas. Tell the fellas, hey, fellas, y'all are kings. You know what I'm saying? Y'all emperors. Y'all chief commanders in chief. Tell the guys, love yourself. A lot of guys don't understand that too, AD, is they don't hear enough about, oh, you a king, you a leader, you this, you that. You made it in the image of God.
Right.
Uplift the brothers, uplift, because the women are to inspire, are to motivate. When I say inspire, motivate, she gonna challenge you. When I say challenge you, she see the potential in you. She's gonna push you further and further to your purpose and your destiny.
Mhm.
That's why I'm refer that too as well.
Now, that what you said right there, I didn't mean to interrupt. With that, and as far as seeing somebody's potential and trying to make them get there, at the end of the day, when you are doing that or you try to push them, you also, because I fell into this. I was seeing the God's potential, and I was like, yeah,
Right.
I see you doing this or whatever. I can motivate you, help you get there. But then I started to lose myself.
Right.
Because I was so focused on trying to get him to help his potential. That's what I want men and both sides in general to not get to the point where it's just it is about that person and you don't want to lose yourself in that situation. Because then they're gonna start getting comfortable and complacent, like, oh shoot, I can do what I want. She says she sees my potential. I don't really give a fuck about that. I'm just gonna let her just say what she say, or let him say what he say.
Right.
And then you end up losing yourself. So
Right.
that's what they had to put out there.
Yes, I like the guest we had on the show a while back, and him and his wife. He said, like, his wife came to him and said that she wants to do something of the goal, a dream, whatever. He responds to his wife, let's sit down and put a plan together. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, you want to do these things. Okay, let's sit down and put a plan together.
Yeah.
He came with a solution. He didn't beat her down and tear her down. he came with a solution. Okay, you want to do this? All right, we're gonna sit down. We're gonna put a plan together.
Yeah. That's the thing too. Problems are always problems. And I sit there and ask people, I'm like, okay, so what's the solution to it now?
That's
Y'all
it.
keep talking about it and bringing it up. What are y'all gonna do now?
They're too focused on bitching about the problem instead of working on a solution.
And again, this on both sides. I'm not saying it's just about women when it comes to bringing up problems all the time. And I'm not saying it's just men bringing up problems all the time, but in general, what is the solution now? This was the problem 2-3 years ago, and you still bringing up the whole problem. So why are you still bringing it up? Do something about it.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think when you with somebody, it's supposed to be fun. When you with somebody, it's supposed to be a cycle, not no burden or not no arguing and fighting or bitching.
Walking on eggshells,
Right.
or trying to put them on a spell and trying to say, because it's a difference when it comes to a courtship or a relationship. You can be submissive and be that with somebody, but owning somebody is completely different. And I say that when it comes to being submissive, you can be submissive. That's cool. But then I made that post. It's just, we could be submissive to the man, but which man is it? Is it to the wrong man or is it to the right man? Who are you being submissive to is the question. And so
Yeah,
I want,
let me ask you that too.
I wanted people to look into that. Yeah.
I want to ask you that too about the now you got some who try to make somebody that they're not.
Who they are. Mm-hmm.
You have people, I can change the individual. You can't change nobody. Whether
No,
you're
you
a male or male or female. You cannot
Yeah.
change the individual. I learned that from experience. They
Yeah,
have to want to change themselves.
that's true.
And people put themselves in these situations where I could change them. You can't change. And I see this all the time about the type of work that I do. And I see this in the system all the time.
Yeah.
Where you have people incarcerated, of course, they did this stuff. And you have the person in the house, well, I could change him. But he keep going in and out of being incarcerated.
Yeah.
I could change him, but he keeps still doing the same thing. He
Right.
has to change. You can't change nobody.
I was gonna say you can't change anybody that's not willing to change themselves.
Yeah, you think you can. You think, and I get this with these females too, because these females sitting here fighting over these dudes and saying, oh, well, I'm number one. He got me at number one, and all you hoes ain't nobody, girl. No. He's number one. You like number five.
Yes.
You're not number one to him. You're just beneath. You're beneath. You ain't no trophy, no prize to him. You just someone on the side.
Honey, that's just what he's manipulated you to believe at the moment that he's with you. But I promise you, he's still number 20 and number 21. That they're also number one.
Right.
You know you don't want for me. You know you don't want for me. You know you don't want for me. But they get the ones that got low self-esteem though.
You know I love you.
They get the one that got low self-esteem. A woman that got worth by herself, she'd have been cut them off at the head a long time ago.
Yeah,
but they
she
get
got a little toothless asshole that's gonna sit there and just be like, oh, I'll do anything. I just want to do anything to be out in the open. She'll do whatever it takes to be out in the open. She just want to be seen with this nigga.
Oh, they know how to get them. They get them when they gullible. They get them in their lowest point, or they get them that got low self-esteem. They know how to get them. They're not gonna get a strong one, but they get someone who they can manipulate.
Yeah. Yeah, and us women, some of us women, we don't go for that. We don't go for this little spell. I always say that you're not gonna put no spell on no bitch like me. We're not gonna go for that. I think broken before you even step on my end.
I don't think it's fair to say that we want to try to change anybody. If there's going to be a change, it's going to be because there's growth together as a couple, right? We're both changing. We're both changing because we're growing. We've set goals, and that's why, yes, it's nice if you can find somebody who is, established and is great and wonderful and it lives happily ever after, okay? If that's what your end game is. But finding that person who has their shit together doesn't mean they got to be this billionaire, right? But has their shit together, you have your shit together, now you want to get your shit together. You want to grow together. That's when you really see the true respect for each other, because you've worked so hard as a couple to get where you're now at, okay? Or you're saying we might have reached this goal, but guess what? We got another goal, baby. Let's do it together. Let's grow together. But you don't. You have so many people that are, I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this for this person. Or like you said, I'm going to help them get there. I'm going to help them get there. And then guess what? Now all of a sudden you don't know who the hell you are, because you've been sitting there way down trying to get this person. You're giving this person a float when that person is now giving you the acre that's got you at the bottom of the damn river. Right.
That part. And then when when the other individual loses himself, it's just like It's literally, it's like their cure. It's like, okay, I'm just worshiping this person. Then it comes to idolization and trying to worship them. It's just whatever you say, whatever you do, I'm here to support you. I'm here to do whatever it takes, just whatever it takes to do anything just to be with you and to make sure you good. But it's not, that's where it's people are just like, oh, well, you don't care about him. You're being selfish. You don't care about what he needs to do. But then it's like, but then you're over here and she just looks a whole hot mess. And they're just like, dang, what's going on over here? Like she look like she on drugs. What's going on with her?
You gotta do you. You gotta do you. Look yourself, look your best, and live your best life. Always do you.
And
Yeah.
you know, then you have that.
Selfish. You know what? Being selfish is a good thing. Be selfish because, like you said, you don't lose yourself in the process. So
Right.
Or you have that issue when you're not choosing to grow together and you're just focusing on one person's growth. Then whether it's male or female, then when that person hits that status, then all of a sudden they're too good for you. So then they leave your ass, and then you're like, I helped you get there. And when you got to the top, now you leave me behind when I literally gave up my everything to get you where you want
And
to go.
then you're gonna turn around and you're gonna turn everything that I was trying to help you get or whatever, you're gonna turn to and you're gonna just give it to another bitch. How you gonna sit there and try after all the years that I've been sat there and trying to help you establish this shit, you gonna turn around and give it to another hoe?
That's why it's not about. That's why it's not about. That's why it shouldn't be just focusing on one person growing. It's about focusing on that growth as a couple.
Yep.
How can we build it together? Not you build your empire and I'll sit on the back burner. How can we do this together? This is our empire.
Well, it gotta be a team. You always gotta be a team. You gotta have because you gotta build that kingdom, build an empire.
These are obviously people
build
that
that
did not.
legacy.
These are obviously people that didn't know how to play well with others in the sandbox. Okay, they couldn't
Girl,
shoot.
yes.
They was never taught. They was never
I'm
taught.
like, what? Make it make sense.
That's why it should be always want to make sure you with the right person. They had to see the same thing you see, had the same drive, had the same focus that you have. They match each other energy, that you can move further together. Operate as one.
But don't try to use other people just to get where you need to get either. Don't try to step over them and then, oh, I'm already good. I don't need you no more. I'm just gonna sit here and try to get this other chick over here. We good now. Like,
but then they base it off the material stuff. You're gonna lose that stuff. Like they don't realize, okay, you got. But then, why give this individual as a downgrade? Now you had somebody who was there for you, but they give with somebody who's a downgrade. They give with somebody who's a gold digger. Take for everything they got, and then they want to come back to you. Now that's crazy.
It happens. I'm telling you,
it does happen.
both sides.
They
You making all this effort, you blood, sweat, and tears. All the effort, like it's just effortless. Everything that you're doing, you talking about the sky's the limit. It's beyond that. Just doing all those things.
But
and
you
then
know, I can't stand it too. Whenever you have couples that do that, and then when it falls apart, then you have that person that's sitting there wanting everybody to feel sorry for them. I had to build everything they got, and then they left me because you stupid. Because you lost yourself to help somebody else grow instead of growing together. You know, they want to play that I'm a victim card real quick, right? You put yourself as the victim. You did that. That is a self-inflicted wound, baby.
Think about Neil's situation with Crystal. Well, old girl Crystal, think about her. She thought, oh shoot, I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you because you know what I'm saying? I'm good over here with Neil now. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. I got him and we good over here. And look what happened. Got another girl pregnant. And you thought you was going to be the one to have a transition in his life to change and have this and that. He still didn't change. You thought you was going to be the one. Then y'all renewed your vows again. He still didn't change. And then you want to make this post because people try to tell you. You want to gloat about, oh, well, it's just not good for us anymore. And, you know, he just, you know, I just got to take care of our kids and we're just there for the kids now and everything. Nobody cared. Because everybody done already told you.
Because you don't put that business out there and still didn't follow good advice.
And we're not gonna feel sorry for you because everybody already knew, but you because you were falling into this spell. Oh well, he's still mine, but it's okay if he cheats a little here and there as long as you don't just do anything, interfere and all this stuff. But then it just got tiring because you were married to him she was married to him for what, 8, 9 years, 10 years. And then she reached a boiling point. But nobody's feeling sorry for you. because we already knew what his whole mindset was when it, you know, I always remember this when they said this about her. The way you got him is the way you lost him.
Right.
The way that old girl, because Neil said that his ex-wife, when he was with her, that he didn't want to have kids with her. He didn't want to have kids with her, and he just wanted to leave her, whatever reason that was. And then Crystal came on and was like, oh, well, I'm just this newbie. I'm just this light-skinned girl that he's infatuated with, and I just want to be with him, and I don't know what y'all's situation is. And he's just like, you know, he doesn't want you anymore. And when I saw that whole split, I'm telling you, when I went to the shade room and saw that, I said, girl, I told you. We didn't try to tell you. The way you got him is the same way you're going to lose him. And I actually kept that, because that is really real. Like, that really does happen. You know, everybody thinks that, oh, I'm winning because I got this man now and you don't have him no more. He's mine. Girl, bye. Don't nobody care.
Yeah, no, yeah. We're not going to care. We're not going to sit here and feel sorry for you.
Hope Furman come back on, because I gotta get up.
Oh, where did he go?
In the morning.
I don't know. He dropped.
And I gotta get some sleep.
Look at you. Look at these eyes. Are like.
Mm-hmm. But I like this conversation. I like these kind of things where it's balanced. And I hope to do it live. I'm gonna try to get y'all on, because we need to keep talking about this. Just everything in general, until I feel like it got to be a separation of the people. You know, we know who's good, we know who's bad, and we got to just kind of do our best in picking right. Well, not even picking right, because it's hard to pick right. You got to pick what's reasonable, what's probable for you. You know, it don't have to be the perfect white picket fence kind of a dream of marriage.
It's not going to be that way at the beginning. It's not going to be that. You're not going to have a white picket fence. You're not going to have the 2-story house overnight. It's not going to be like that at the beginning. It's going to be soil.
And if you do, you're probably not going to appreciate it.
That part, you gotta have gratitude. So no, ma'am.
No, that's true. And
when
then,
it comes to both sides of the spectrum,
them.
It got to be both sides. It can't just be, well, men ain't shit, men ain't this, men ain't that, blah 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 blah. No, ma'am. I'm just gonna put it out there. You are an unfit parent. You're this, you're that, and you just don't know how to take care of your responsibilities. So do what you need to do instead of sitting here bitching and moaning about your 5 baby daddies and the abortions you had. You sitting here worried about what he got going on. No, ma'am. And you're not even thinking about getting a pap smear again. Girl, go get you a pap smear. Just
right. Girl, you did just say.
Yes, you sitting here worried about how but you still laying with the same dude.
Look at
80s.
You
like, oh, I got another
80s
STD again.
Look at 80s closing. Tip for the night is gonna be go get your pap smear, girl.
Oh wow.
If you know what that means, half these hoes don't even know what it means. Go get your pap smear done. Like every year too. Get it done every year. Don't get it like every 5 or 6 years. Like, no, I don't feel like going. Bitch, no. You need to go.
Yeah.
Nobody want that steak and that shit.
I can't. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Furman, I know.
Men too. Y'all
Look
talking about, we don't really know. Y'all, that's another thing I had to say about this, because a lot of these dudes, when I sit there and talk to them, ask them about, like, okay, you know about this STD, you know about this infection, you know all this stuff. Man, I don't know any of this stuff. It's freaking me out. Well, you need to do your research, boo.
Yeah.
They go back to
because y'all sitting there thinking that we're the ones that carrying all this. No, y'all carrying it just as much as we are, and you don't even know it.
You know what?
So do your research.
I'm glad you brought that up, AD. We talk about this all the time on the show. Being honest with somebody. Are you into the same sex? Are you bisexual? These kind of questions that has to be asked and addressed. Because you have guys who be on the DL and then they catch something.
And the ones you don't even expect that are on the DL too. The ones you don't even expect.
Then you hate that the woman has to get caught up. Nah, she's an innocent bystander. Instead of you just being straight up and honest, let her know, hey, I like guys, I'm bisexual, but he's scared to say something. But that's how fair is that to her. That's not fair to her.
Right. Because you think that makes you weak. But it wasn't weak when you was trying to get you was having the groceries played with. So don't say that you being weak. Yeah. Your groceries was being played with. So you need to be upfront and tell her.
I agree.
Like, stop. Y'all saw that other incident where this dude was going around and y'all This dude was going around just unapologetically giving just females HIV, just unapologetically, like, oh, it's really nothing. It's nothing. No, I'll just sleep with this girl. It's really nothing. No, it is something.
She could just take a pill. Like, you know, like if she catches anything, she could just take a pill. You're disrespectful. That's all that is right there.
That 6 months is a pill they got to take for 6 months.
But it could be, but the thing, it might not be harsh and harmful for him, but it might be worse for her. We don't know what she has. She might have history. She might have diabetes. She might have other types of diseases that she might have. She might have a specific disability, and then when she gets HIV, it's worse.
Because if you guys weren't communicating well enough to talk about STDs, that I assure you have not discussed any health issues, like the medical side of health issues, right? So you don't know what the other person has, and then you sitting there giving them something that could cause additional, you know, problems. It could, you know, increase those medical conditions. It's just a matter of disrespect, in my opinion. And I just want to say this too before I have to get off, and that's only because I got to go figure out what's going on with this key locked in the vehicle. It was such a pleasure to be able to meet you and to chat with you. I'll definitely go on there and friend you on social so that I can follow and, you know, give my 2 cents. Maybe I'll inbox you those little comment, like, girl.
Yes.
Like, correct me. Did I understand that? But it was definitely a pleasure. And
you too.
And you know, hopefully we'll get to see you on the show again. If not, I'll definitely be watching you on social media.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. Yes. Bye, Daquan and Furman. Not trying to bail on y'all, but we have been on here for a minute, and if I don't go do this now, I'll fall asleep.
Go ahead, handle your business. By all means, go ahead and handle your business.
All right. It was nice, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.
But yeah, I was like, oof, man, these people are crazy. I just had to put it there. Like, man, with me, I ain't gonna lie, because when I go and meet a guy, one of the first things that I pull out, and they just be like, what is all this? STD check. All of it, the whole list. I pulled the 2 little piece of paper. I just put it right there. I'm like, so where's yours? Because
you know, there's nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, because what you're doing, but you're protecting yourself, and they should take the same way also. They're going back to loving yourself. You love yourself, you're gonna protect yourself.
You're not about to give me no STDs. No, sir, you're not.
Be straight up and honest. That's what we talk about.
Then don't come back. You can't sit there and come back and tell me, oh, well, at this time this happened. I don't know how this got here. Oh no, sir, because this is proof right here that this is what I have. So you can't tell me not a punk ass thing.
What man, should they do blood tests? I remember when you got married, we had to take a blood test. Do they still do that?
They do the blood testing, and they do the urine. They do the urine sample, the blood testing. They do the swapping. I do everything. I don't care if it's.
They need to.
I don't care what it is. Please let me know. Then you got to think about this too, because with STDs or whatnot, it might not occur within the 6 months. It might not occur within a year. It can happen 3 years down the line. HIV can happen 10 years down the line or whatnot. Anything can happen. So that's why I said, nope, 3-6 months, I'm going to get checked every time.
There's nothing wrong with that. You love yourself. That's why you love yourself.
You don't want to be, don't nobody want to be, especially as a female, as a male, I don't know, because I'm not a male, I don't know that. But as a female though, it is embarrassing when you have to go out there and find out that, you know, you're going into the clinic, you're pregnant, and then I was pregnant, and I sat there and heard the conversation. She was saying, girl, I'm over here pregnant. I wasn't feeling right. She almost lost her baby because she found out that the dude she was talking to, she was telling me and this other lady that was sitting on the other side of her, she was saying that she found out she had all these other STDs and stuff like that. She almost miscarried because of the STDs. So she had to take, now she's pregnant, so it's hard for her to take these prescriptions. So she had to take a lower dose. I was like, girl, what is going on over there? Like, it's that serious. It's that severe. It happens. So, nope, I'm safe. I'm sorry. I just can't do it. If I even see that, like one little zit somewhere just around, like, nope.
Hey,
we need to check that.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, AD. You got to protect yourself and anybody, whether you're a man or a woman.
Period.
Yourself. And that's what I believe also. I believe in accountability, AD. I'm not just talking about, I believe in accountability. Mm-hmm. and I know a lot of times we see people, they point the finger at the individual. So you get an individual because that's the decision that you made at that time. I never heard a guy say, well, she did, she that. But at that time, you made that decision to be with her.
Right.
And just say, you know what? Yeah, I will. I admit I made the choice that it was with her.
It takes two to tango. Like, it's not just
Right.
the female. Come on, you pulled the pants down. You was doing and dipping and doing. Like, you can't sit there and say she held a gun to your head and like, oh, this is what happened. No, she didn't hold a gun to your head, bro. Come on.
Yeah, I made this post today on Facebook. I said I never seen a woman come up to a man out of the blue and introduce herself and say, "Hey, I'm going to use you today." I ain't never seen that. If you show me that, let me see it, because I never seen that.
That's
I've
where,
seen it.
see, that's the thing. That's where it
I've
comes from
seen it.
cheating.
My
Because it's
brother
like,
gets that. My brother got that, that look that all the girls want, the bad guy look. And I've seen it done out in the public, walking with him, phone, girl walk up, I want to have your baby. Not thinking nothing else, just literally off his
What?
image because he got the tats. You know how that look is. And that's literally that's literally how that conversation is. And this is multiple times. That's why, even though I don't get that kind of attraction, I learned that from my brothers because I
Yeah.
know it tells me what
The
do they see
stories.
first from him. The
Mhm.
funny thing is his character and what he want in a woman is the thinking like me.
Yeah.
Like he don't want he want to actually be married and stuff, but he get the trouble because of the image on the outside. So when he get a
Yeah.
girl, he like, yo man, like I'm not getting no affection. We ain't no talking. I'm like, I get it, but you don't look like it. Like you look
Well-
like you just come in there, blow their back out, and be out. So that's
But
what
then
he
is
really
he has
want.
to open his mouth
Yeah.
too. That's another thing.
You
They're
know?
going back to loving yourself. Love yourself. Respect yourself. Don't let nobody disrespect you. If you give the individual that disrespect you, they do it how you treat yourself.
Right.
If you love yourself, you're not gonna tolerate it. You're gonna tell them no, and they gotta know off the bat that hey, I can be replaced anytime.
Mhm.
But if you come off as trash, if you treat yourself like trash, they're gonna treat you like trash. So
Right.
going back to open your mouth, don't be afraid. Tell them up front what you will and what you won't tolerate. That's what it
Yeah.
is. They might not say anything. Then they get mad about it.
Right.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I gotta get up at like 5 in the morning, man. But yeah, I gotta get some sleep.
Yeah, me too. I gotta get some shut out myself because I gotta be ready
This
for work
was good
tomorrow.
combo because it went this long. So
Yeah, it did.
yeah.
Oh yeah, like I said, AD, you have any final remarks before we get off the air?
Any final remarks?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at the end of the day, again, just look at both sides. Everybody has to look at both sides. Life is all about point of view, other people's point of views. It can't just be a one-sided thing because that's not what it's about. You know, there's things that are very as far as femininity that men are not able to do, and there's things as far as masculinity that women are not able to do as well. So it has to be everything, like you were saying earlier. Everything has to be balanced. Everything has to be completely balanced and look at both sides of the story. It can't just be one-sided.
No, that's it. That sums it up right there. So we're about to get ready to get off. We'll be back here Saturday morning at 10 a.m. We're also, man, y'all remember the graveyard. Everybody had one thing in common. Big shout out. I got that from C to Dean Williams. Big shout out to him. Remember the graveyard. Everybody had one thing in common. That out there going to see tomorrow. And they didn't. Let's live life like it's our last. And most importantly, love yourself, respect yourself, whether you're a man or a woman, especially to the kings. Fellas, respect yourself, love yourself.
Yep.
And trust me, the right woman will come along. Once you become the better man, fellas, the right woman will come along. Just focus on getting yourself together. That's what my dad was always big on. Get yourself together. In due time, due season, that right woman will come along. You ain't got to rush the process. You gotta
Right.
make that
Trust
proposal.
it.
Right. And the right woman will come along. So we're about to agree to get off the air. Also to the ladies, trust me, be about your business. The right man will come along. So y'all have a great night. We're gonna be back here Saturday morning, 10 a.m. here on Walking This Way Impact Force Podcast.
Bye,
Have a
y'all.
blessed night, everybody. Bye. Peace.
Bye.